All right, he's fading up. Oop.
Sleek, glamorous, lightweight, and extremely maneuverable, with a power-to-weight ratio second to none in all of motorsports. With acceleration from 0 to 100 miles an hour in under 5 seconds, and top speeds in excess of 120 miles an hour. In 2024, the news on the street is the Mercury Apex 250 4.6-liter V8 4-stroke versus the industry standard 2.5-liter V6 2-stroke. Who's going to come out on top in 2024? He blows by the doors off. Down into turn number 1. Ooh, the 17 of Mars sweeps it right off the tail. back. Oh, look out, we got to blow over. Oh, they somehow saved it. No two laps are the same. Ever-changing wind and water conditions make the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series one of the most challenging racing circuits running today. From the Formula Light to the fan-favorite tri-hulls and the elite Formula Ones, this is the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of our national anthem as we are now live broadcasting across the globe on our YouTube channel.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, race fans, let's get ready to rock and roll. We're going to start things off with a bang here at the 2024 Roar of the Rockies. Like I mentioned before, my name's Thomas Yarbrough. They call me the Noise of the North, bringing you all the live play-by-play action along with my partner, K-Dub, K. Myers out of Seattle, Washington. K, here we are wrapping up the season. Fantastic other weekend here in the beautiful shores of Pelican Lake in Windsor, Colorado.
You know, no better way to do it than right here in Windsor, Colorado. These water conditions are perfect. The sky is blue. Just a little ripple on the water for these tri-hulls as they make their way out onto the course. I am so excited. I've never been to this race, but I've heard about it from every single driver whenever they've come here before. And it's good to be back here in Windsor. And I'm so excited. Look at the crowd, both sides. Look at Tent City over on the other side.
Absolutely. It reminds you a little bit of the APBA Nationals out in Springfield,
yes,
Ohio, but the fantastic Water Valley community, it is definitely a golf cart community, and they love the tents. They can roll the golf carts right up. We've got fantastic food vendors over on the other side. What an unbelievable day we're going to have of racing here, kicking things off with the Texas Tri-Hull, a class that's been dominated by the man out of Hemlock, Michigan, the number 17 of Neil Marsh, looking to go back-to-back for series champions, looking for his third in 3 years, and K, a clean sweep with podiums at the first 3 stops of 2024. Can he do it here at the final round?
I've talked to a couple of the drivers throughout the whole pit area, and I said, who's your target? Who are you trying to beat? Every single one of them mentioned the number 17 of Neil Marsh. He is like almost unstoppable, and I say almost because we have some fast drivers out here in our tri-hull, but it doesn't just take speed, it takes coordination and it takes ability to get through this course. If you've never seen a tri-hull race, well, fans, you're in for a great run.
Absolutely. These guys are going to churn up the water here in Pelican Lakes. For those of you joining us here in Windsor, Colorado for Roar of the Rockies and maybe your first race with the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series here in 2024, what is a Texas Tri-Hull? Well, it is a tri-hulled Glastron boat from the 60s and 70s that they have engineered a deck on top of those as well as mounted a roll cage. So you've got essentially a pleasure boat with a deck on it and a roll cage in it. They put 100 cubic inch OMC, right? Johnson or Evinrude, the old, either the Stranglers, I think was the name of them. I don't know. There's so many unique names from those motors, but I mean, we're talking outboards from the 70s and 80s. Or we've got the brand new 115 horse, 2.1 liter inline 4-stroke for Mercury. So 4-stroke has really made its way into all aspects of the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series, especially here in the Texas Tri-Hull with some of the top drivers, minus our leader Neil Marsh, moving over from the two-stroke, looking for that reliability in the four-stroke package here in the Texas Tri-Hull division.
Yeah, and talking to Tanner Rinker, I said, I go, what? I walked over, I go, this is new. And he said, yeah, a week ago it was new to me. Chris actually surprised him with this motor just 1 week ago. But keep in mind, that doesn't give him much test time to be able to get this motor figured out. So that might cause some issues. But luckily, they opened up the waters to us yesterday, so these drivers were able to get a full day worth of testing. And I think he said, you know, I got a couple things I want to change, but you know, it's a Rinker. You know, he'll be fine.
He'll be fine, absolutely. You know, and ultimately, he stuck through a lot of trials and tribulations. The young 52 Tanner Rinker has had a very long 2024. I think the motor came off of his boat on 3 different occasions. So
I was there once.
We've got one driver, the 37 Mason Rinker, as you can't see him on screen, but he's now made his way off from the north end of the course down towards the marina and where our pits area is. That's unfortunate for the young driver sitting second in points. And let's talk about that. Our point standing coming in, right? Our points leader in the Texas Tri-Hull division with 974 points, 3 wins in 3 races. The 17 and Neil Marsh, no surprise there, but the young driver who just, now he's coming back. I don't know, maybe he's got taking on some water and he's trying to get that drained out of the boat. Again, we call them bumper boats at 65 miles an hour, but you look, they're the 37 of Mason Rinker. We've got him on screen now. He's sitting in second place, 874 points. There's 400 points up for grab this weekend. He is the only driver within striking range, really, of the 17 of Neil Marsh, and it looks like he might already had troubles here. We haven't even started qualifying heat number 1.
Well, we just talked about it. You just said the name, Rinker. I mean, they may have their issues sometimes throughout the weekend, but they always seem to get it figured out and always see a Rinker on the podium. So I wouldn't count him out quite yet. But Grant Schubert sitting in third, he's basically the ringleader of all these tri-hulls, and him and John Schubert are pretty much the ones that got this whole racing community started with the tri-hulls. You and I remember when tri-hulls started.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, it was like 5 to 6 of them. Now look how many we have every single weekend.
And it sounds like 2025, the class will grow. I know the DD1 of Andy Miller, the Wichita, Kansas native rookie here in 2024, has acquired a couple extra hulls. We've got some other interest from drivers across North America. I wouldn't be surprised. And could you imagine 20 boats going 65 miles an hour, 7, 8, 9 deep into the corner?
And you're going to see this here shortly, race fans. You're going to see going that speed with that many boats going into the corner and the rollers that are kicked up throughout the whole race. It's going to be interesting to watch.
All right, so we've talked a little bit, right? Our leader in the points coming in with 974. By the way, you can find all our points at F1PowerboatChampionship.com. You can also stream live, see unbelievable overhead drone footage and close-up racing action on our YouTube channel at F1 Powerboat Championships, even for those here in Water Valley in the beautiful Pelican Lakes Golf and Resort Club. But Neil Marsh out in front with 974. Then we've got the Mason Rinker in that number 37 all-yellow machine at 874 coming in second. And then in third,
Grant Schubert's only 30 points back with 844. That's a tight run right there.
Absolutely. You know, he's got a real outside chance, and obviously the grudge match between the 6 of Grant Schubert and the 17 of Neil Marsh is well documented here on the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series. But in fourth, resurgence back after retiring from tunnel boat racing, came back out to a tri-hull, sitting in fourth there with 702 points, is that number 5 all-gray boat Breakwater Bar and Grill of Ruben Stafford.
You know, and Tanner Rinker's sitting right behind Ruben with 653 for points. It's a 47-point difference between those two. But I've seen those guys battle it out and swap around on positions race after race. So that might be one to watch because they're going to be trying to get up to Grant to take that third place position away.
Absolutely, and unfortunately after breaking his back, had to sub in another driver this weekend. But in 6th position in the point standing with 648 points is the number 26 of Briston Sherman.
Josh Wells just 4 weeks ago in Springfield, Ohio, got his first here in the Tri-Hall class. And I was like, are you still on a high? And he's like, yeah, and I'm going for another one this weekend.
You know, he's really had a lot of motor troubles early in the year. I think he's got a lot of that figured out, and he sits in 7th. Right behind him, we call him Mullet. He's got that beautiful rainbow-colored, very bright number 69 Tri-Hull, and that's the young driver out of South Texas, sitting in 8th position there with 630 points. And then in 9th, right behind him, another driver from Texas, just made the move to the San Antonio area, running for Walker Engineers, number 1 of Corey Walker. All right, looks like we're going to get him lined up and ready to roll. So that puts us through our top 10. as Clint Dillard with 475 points rounded out. Now let's take a look at our Heat 1 starting order. We do rolling start, 2 by 2, much like NASCAR, but they're a rolling start on the inside of lane 1. That's the 26 of Michael Schubert filling in for the 20 of Briston Sherman. Then on the outside of row 1, the 69 of Cole Mullet-Wearing. Inside of row 2, it's the 1 of Corey Walker. Outside of row 2, the 88 of Josh Wells. Inside of row 3, the 5 of Ruben Stafford. Outside of row 3, the 56 of Clint Dillard. Inside of row 4, the 10 of Scary Jerry Rinker. On the outside, the 33 of John Ottinger. Row 5, inside, our points leader, the 17 of Neil Marsh. Outside, J.B. Jensen out of Windsor, Colorado on the outside of row 5. Then it's the 52 of Tanner Rinker, the DD1 of Andy Miller, the 6 of Grant Schubert, the 37 of Mason Rinker, the 13 of Jack Schubert, and the 29 of Jared Jensen. Super Dave, here we go. As the 26 of Michael Schubert, we drop the green flag, and we've got racing underway here, Kay.
It's going to be the 69. Look for that ever-colorful 69 of the Mullet as he tries to dive on the inside. But we got a lot of company when it comes up to the JH Performance. They're flying down that backstretch. All right, race fans, stand up. This is going to be a good show for you because look as they go 3 deep going into that first turn.
And we see the professional Michael Schubert, retired Formula One driver, jumping back into a tri-haul here as he's moving down the front straightaway. And boy, that clean water's really opened it up well for the number 26 of Michael Schubert, the 88 of Josh Wells, and the 1 of Corey Walker, able to get by the 69 of Cole Mullet-Wearing. There's the 56 of Clint Dillard, slams it down into corner number 1. This 2-pin half-mile swing. Oh, look, we got 3 of them wadded up, including the 17 of Neil Marsh and the 69 of Cole Mullet-Wearing.
We call this bumper boats on water, and I am not kidding. This is basically how it's just like a survival mode to be able to get through these corners. You just saw that, and that was a huge factor for 17 of Neil Marsh. He is your points leader. It's that bright blue number 17. He is frantically trying to work his way through, but unfortunately got caught up in some traffic.
Yeah, you can see him there at the top of the corner. Now we go down off the far north cam. There's the 1 of Corey Walker. He sits in third, trying to chase down the 88 of Josh Wells. You can see they're sitting in second, but look at them all wadded up. There's that John Deere green 33 of John Ottinger doing battle with the 6 of Grant Schubert, the driver sitting in third. Look how Grant Schubert in that red number 6 airs it out, coming down the back straightaway.
Grant Schubert, one of the, I basically said, brought this class together. He knows how to drive that. He is a fast driver, young kid out here racing against some of his fellow competitors.
Absolutely. We look down the front straightaway there. You see that boat in the middle of the race course. That's the number 5 of Ruben Stafford. He goes dead in the water as we are overhead between the battle of the 56 of Clint Dillard on the outside. There he is, the 17 of Neil Marsh in fourth as they flash by the back straightaway as the 17 of Neil Marsh continues to fight hard. He won the first 3 rounds. Can he win this opening heat from starting mid-pack inside of row 5K?
Neil Marsh is one of the faster ones out here. He knows how to maneuver through traffic, but on that third lap when he got caught up in traffic, had to let off the throttle, is now making his way back up through the crowd. But keep an eye out for that number 88. That was the one that had just won his first, and when I talked to him this weekend, he said, I'm going for another one, sitting right now in second place.
Oh, look out there, Corey Walker airing it out as we got him on the screen. Fantastic views by Live Race Media. He's going down to the north end of the course, and he's got a rear view mirror full of that 17 of Neil Marsh as Neil tries to gain those points and get up into that top 3 podium position here in qualifying heat number 1.
Great run between the number 1 of Corey Walker, and on the outside the 17. They're going to see if he can make his way through and maybe do a slingshot, try and jump on the inside of the number 1, which he just did, trying to make his way through. Ruben Stafford, poor guy, sitting right there in the camera.
Oh, look at there, side by side coming out of turn number 1 on the south end of the course. And then Marsh, 17 of Marsh on the inside. The 1 of Corey Walker with that 4-stroke on the outside. It's two-stroke versus Texas as they go down in, and just like he's done all season long, he gets the inside line as the white flag goes out. Can anybody catch the 26 of Michael Schubert? We're with the 17 of Neil Marsh now, but we got a battle heating up.
It's
As
still
they come out of the turn number 1. There we go. Take it away, Kay. We got the 26 of Michael Schubert and the 88 of Josh Wells all over each other here on this final lap.
It is going to be a close race all the way to the end because the gap is getting super short. We're going to have back traffic in the issue, and then we're going to watch as he comes across. Schubert's going to go on the inside. Wells is going to go on the outside. Checkered flag goes to the 26
of Michael Schubert in second. The number 88 of Josh Wells, and rounding out the top 3 with a great move there on the second to last lap, the 17 of Neil Marsh finds his way from 10th to 3rd here in this first of 3 qualifying heats.
What a great run. Okay, race fans, that was the way we wanted to kind of get you all into this race. This is our tri-hauls. Look at the water is rough out there, and these drivers, I mean, they're just taking a hammering. So if you own or know of a chiropractic company, I would suggest you might want to, I don't know, make your way into the pits. a couple of these drivers might need your help later on this afternoon. Tri-hulls are just now leaving the water right now. Next class out will be our Formula Lights. So we're going to go from Tri-hulls to Formula Lights.
And we talk about one of our great local sponsors here of the 2024 Roar of the Rockies, Exodus Moving and Storage on the move here. 9th, finishing 3rd, moving up 6 positions in this 7-lap open qualifying heat. Exodus Moving and Storage on the move, the number 17 of Neil Marsh. Exodus Moving and Storage. For nearly 3 decades, this family-owned and operated company here in the heart of Colorado has been helping individuals, families, and businesses relocate with ease, handling their valuables with the utmost care and professionalism. Find them online at exodusmovingandStorage.com, your on-the-move sponsor here for the 2024 Roar of the Rockies. And there is the 26 of Michael Schubert, retired Formula One driver, had to step back in and help one of his teammates who was unable to make it here due to some physical injuries. The 26 of Briston Sherman had to step out of the cockpit. And the KG veteran out of Houston, Texas, the 26 of Michael Schubert's going to step in. Hopefully we're going to have a chance to chat with this driver. My colleague Kay is headed down to the start pontoon to have an opportunity to chat with him. But boys, let's talk about Texas Tri-hulls. And they have 4 qualifying heats here in the Texas Tri-hull class. As you saw, 2x2 rolling start, 2-pin, half-mile, quarter-mile course. Again, it's like bumper boats at 65 miles an hour, and look at the finish there. Less than half a second between the 26 of Michael Schubert and the 88 of Josh Wells, running for Just Send It Racing. Josh Wells, Brondo, the Thirst Mutilator, his sponsor as of the Alt Midwest Nationals. Brondo, it's what boats crave. The 88 of Josh Wells sitting there in second. And there he is, 17 of Neil Marsh. He won round 1 in Port Neches. He took round 2 in Shreveport, Louisiana. He walked away with round 3 in Alton, Illinois, and he's trying to do the same here. What a great finish, your Exodus Moving and Storage on the move driver from heat number 1. Rounding out the field there, the rookie in that DD1, Wichita, Kansas is where he calls home. That's Andy Miller. And then the 69 of Cole Waring, really struggling with his setup there. Started second, finished 12th. Ouch, drops 10 points in this opening qualifying heat. Not the direction he wanted to go for the driver sitting in 8th overall points on the season standings. You see there Jack Schubert, younger brother of the 6 of Grant Schubert. Jack here in his rookie season in 2024, one of 2 rookies. And then the 37 of Mason Rinker. Ouch, bro. You were in second in points. You finished 14 out of 16 here in the opening heat. That is not the direction that he wanted to go either. He needs those points, only 100 points back coming in to our final round here at Roar of the Rockies. And then rounding out the 29, Super Dave Richards, running for Island Lake Marine here, a part of that large Island Lake Marine team running here because they're all home based out of Colorado. And then the number 5 of Ruben Stafford, the driver we saw dead in the water, down after just a few races, just a few laps here in this opening qualifying heat in Formula One. All right, we've got my partner in crime. All right, looks like we're going to turn it down here in a minute, but let's talk about what's coming up next. If we look at the rest of the afternoon schedule, coming up next, we've got the Formula Lights on the water. What are the Formula Lights? This is a 15-foot-long tunnel hull. Most of them today are a split, either some are wood, most are carbon fiber, but they run a 2-cylinder, 49.5 cubic inch OMC outboard. So we're talking a fishing motor that these drivers will get in excess of 80 miles an hour here on the shores of Pelican Lake. That's a 2-cylinder, 49.5 cubic inch 2-stroke outboard. These were probably one of the most standard tiller fishing motors on the back of fishing boats from the 60s through the 90s. The flagship of the OMC brand, Evan Rudin Johnson. And we've got a battle going on between teammates in Formula Lights coming in. The 12 of Traden Schleicher and the 24 of Shelby Love, both running for Clover Construction, 41 points apart here. As we see on screen now, that's the consummate professional and veteran out of Greenfield, Wisconsin, running for Pizza Inn, the 35 of Mark Schmierbach, as well as the San Antonio native of Marshall Gildermaster. That is a Danish-built Formula Light. That boat there shipped over from Denmark a few years ago, and they are scary, scary fast here in the Formula Lights class on the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series. It looks like they're getting some stuff figured out down there on the dock. Hopefully having an opportunity to have a conversation with the number 26 of Michael Schubert. Michael probably didn't expect to finish where he did, considering he's Been a very long time since he's been in a tri-hull, but he has a huge benefit. He builds the tri-hulls. I guess if you build a boat, you should know how it acts. And he definitely had it dialed in heat number 1. Surprise of the class. Going wire to wire, starting on the inside of row 1. He took qualifying heat number 1 of 4 here. We're going to do a couple today, a couple tomorrow in the tri-hull. We're going to do 2 qualifying heats today, 1 tomorrow. We only do 3 qualifying heats. And we do something that is very unique in motorsport racing. For those of you who've been with us all year, you're probably yelling at your smartphone or your TV, hey Tom, stop it. I know how things are run here on the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series. I've been watching all season. Well, for those of you here in Windsor, Colorado, if this is your first time with us, we run an inverse order of points after the first heat. We'll talk more about that here in just a minute. But down at the start pontoon, I've got my partner, Kay, with our winner from heat number 1, number 26, Michael Schubert. Take it away, Kay.
All right, we've got the winner. He just said it, 26 of Michael Schubert. Man, you really had to work for that one. Josh Wells was all over your back, Transon, that whole race.
Yeah, it was easier. It was easy because I started up front. But the water was rougher than I remember from driving in the old days, and I was basically racing in my mirrors, looking behind me.
Well, that's a little difficult in tri-hull because you're bouncing all over the place. But, you know, great run. First checkered flag of the weekend belongs to you.
Oh, man, I'm excited. It was a lot of fun out there. Those guys are tough. It's rough out there, and it's fun.
Well, congratulations one more time. The winner of our first heat of tri-hulls, Michael Schubert in the 26.
Thanks, Kay. All right, the 26 of Michael Schubert looking to do it again. Can he run it back in qualifying heat number 2 later this afternoon? As we've got the Formula lights on the water, and we're going to have their first of 3 qualifying heats, 2 today, 1 tomorrow in the Formula lights class. As looks like we're going to get a few hot laps, and we're going to line them on the start pontoon for our first modified Le Mans start here at the Roar of the Rockies 2024.
Mercury Racing was forged in the heat of competition. The will to win is in our DNA. Competition isn't just what we do, it's our proving ground. It's about the pursuit of power, performance, and endurance that pushes our limits and yours. We create premium marine power to take you faster and farther. The world offers limits. Mercury Racing offers freedom. Live wide open.
Racing Fuels has been the official fuel of racing for over 45 years. But VP isn't just race fuels. VP offers a wide range of oils, additives, and our new Stay Frosty coolants to help keep your street car, tow vehicle, or weekend warrior running at its best. VP products are engineered to keep your vehicle running smooth and looking great for your daily commute. With our octane boosters, fuel treatments, and quick detailing products. Explore VP's full product line at vpracingfuels.com.
All right, race fans. Well, we're going to get ready here for the opening heat in the Formula Lights class. But first, a word from our fantastic local sponsors. First and foremost, Water Valley, the presenting sponsor of the 2024 Roar of the Rockies. You are within the Water Valley community here at beautiful Pelican Lakes Golf Resort and Golf Club, the title sponsor in 2024. And what a fantastic partner they've been so far. Island Lake Marine, Colorado's only on-the-water boat dealership with locations in Denver, Fort Collins, and now Las Vegas. Find your next adventure and book your next test drive at islandlakemarine.com. ProLift Crane and Riggings. ProLift traces its roots back to 1995. Since then, they've grown with the development in Colorado, starting out with a single boom truck, and now with thousands of successful projects under their belt, they can proudly say that they are one of the most trusted cranes companies in all of Colorado. Noble and Electric. Nobleman Electric Contracting has been a cornerstone in the community and involved in both leadership and development. They are proud to lead the way towards a more efficient future. With innovative ideas, game-changing technology, and transparency, they have worked on dozens of projects aimed at providing innovative engineering solutions, from custom home and remodels to electrical system design and testing across residential, commercial, and industrial applications. Online at noblemanoelectric.com. Suka Bush, legendary service. How, you ask? By building authentic relationships with their clients, by sharing their knowledge, being responsive, and actively ensuring and understanding their work of product. They offer a wide range of tax and financial services to businesses and individuals alike, including audit, accounting, valuation consulting, cost segregation, studies in small business planning, and more. Online at sukabush.com. Norris Design. Norris Design, for nearly 4 decades, Norris Design has been dedicated to helping the world grow through the power of placemaking. Partnering with clients around the globe, they are transforming the way people live, work, and play at Norris Design. And finally, Advanced HOA Management Incorporated, offering specialized HOA property management services to homeowners, associations, and metropolitan districts in the Denver Front Range and beyond. Whether your community is a townhome, a condominium, a metropolitan district, or a single-family community, they make it their focus to make your community a great place to live. All right, we've got the drivers starting to get lined up on the start pontoon. Kay, welcome back.
Thank you.
Boy, how was I was working on other stuff there. It seemed like the 26 of Schubert, a little bit surprised that he went wire to wire there.
The boat, I said, great job. He goes, well, I started in front. I said, but it's tri-hauls. I mean, to even survive the tri-hauls and to take the checkered flag is really a difficult task when you had Josh Wells right there. You knew Neil Marsh was coming up there, and then you had Ruben Stafford sitting there as basically a third buoy out in turn one that you had to navigate around. And he's like, it's just another factor when it comes to boat racing. And he did a great job. You should have seen the smile on his face down there as he got that checkered flag.
That's fantastic. You know, it's been a long time since he's been in the competitive cockpit after having to step away from Formula One powerboat racing after a fairly long and successful career. But excited to see him back here in the Texas Tri-Hull. But on the water now, we've got the Formula Lights, really one of the feeder classes. We've seen a lot of our drivers over the years in the tunnel boat portion of the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series go from the Formula Lights up to the Formula One class. We kind of got two factions there, right? Okay, we've got those up-and-comers, and then you got the guys that are like, you know what, I like the little boats. And we see that in a lot of racing, right? There was just a gentleman in late model dirt track racing that was like a legend, right? But he never ran NASCAR. He never went to the top ranks. He liked where he was at, and he got really good there, and we've got some of those drivers as well.
Yes, and the driver in particular that you are talking about is that basically I call it the ever colorful number 35 of Mark Schmierbach. And, you know, you always got to say his name with a little bit of a grunt with it because he is German, but he is fast, and he's the one that's going to keep an eye on. But keeping also an eye on the younger version out there, that would be young Miss Shelby Love of Clover Construction, one of our lone female drivers out here on the course. You know, so guys and girls run against each other of all ages and all different groups and from all across the United States. That's what's fun, is to see all of these drivers. Basically, we call it like a family reunion. And last night, you and I got to go see and participate in one heck of a family reunion right up the road.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a fantastic Calcutta event. Now that gambling is much more open in the United States, especially along sports, we had a Calcutta. I believe there's over almost $30,000 in prize money that could be won by all the different folks that joined us last night at the Calcutta. All right, looks like we're getting ready here, and so there's a little bit more on the line than normally here at the great Calcutta put on by Water Volley. All right, there's our test flag. That's what the drivers look. We're going to count down from 1 minute to 20 seconds here in our modified Le Mans start in this Heat 1 of the Formula Lights class. On the pole, the 35 of Mark Schmierbach, the Greenfield, Wisconsin native in that Pizza Inn red, white, and yellow machine, is in a very familiar spot, but off his right hip is the young up-and-comer Shelby Love. Can she be the first female to win a tunnel boat racing series in the history of the United States? Potentially anywhere in Western Europe or across the world. I know there's only been a few women that have been really successful, and she's looking to be the next one in the next generation of female powerboat racers. She comes second off the start pontoon. Then her teammate, the points leader in that all-red Clover machine, the 12 of Trident Schleicher.
Thomas, Thompson Racing, we've talked about Travis Thompson a few times. He's sitting smack dab in the middle, basically like the peanut butter of a peanut butter sandwich. So you're going to have to see if he's going to be able to make his way through the rest of this crowd as they make their way off of this dock. It looks like they're still working on that test flag. Just, fans, that test flag is being held out there so that we can see if those drivers down there on the starting pontoon can see that flag. And then they're going to slowly drop the flag, and then we're going to go racing.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to hear the gun go off by Chief Referee Doug Ray. 1 minute, drivers, 1 minute. Will the pole sitter, the 35 of Mark Schmierbach, do like he's done so many times and go wire to wire here in opening heat number 1? 50 seconds, drivers, 50 seconds. Or will the 24 of Shelby Love come off like a rocket and be the leader here in the early stages? 40 seconds, drivers, 40 seconds. Or will it be the number 12 of Trident Schleicher, her teammate, who works his butt off, but can he jump out in front here in heat number 1? 30 seconds, drivers. Or will it be the 2 of Travis Thompson, the 66 of Randy Parch in that anti-gravity batteries, or the 78 of Marshall Gildermaster? Let's crown a winner in heat 1. 20 seconds, drivers. You're under starters orders. The flag is up. He drops the flag as they come roaring off the beach. He's 2-cylinder, 45.5 cubic inch. 2-cylinder outboards come roaring. What a great jump there by the 35 of Schmierbach. And it looks like he's doing now what he's done for so many years, and that's come out on top right from the get-go. But what a great jump there by the 2 of Travis Thompson out there in lane number 4.
4 deep as they make their way down that backstretch, and it's going to be on the inside. Shelby Love smack dab in the middle, and we might have boat contact going into turn 1 already between Trident Schleicher and Travis Thompson. They're going to go nose-to-nose coming out of turn number 2 down the front stretch.
And we got them all jammed up there in second, third, and fourth. The 12 of Schleicher in the middle, the 2 of Thompson on the outside. Now here comes the anti-gravity battery, 66 of Randy Parch, former Colorado native, now making home down in Port Charlotte, Florida, is now trying to get up into 5th position as they got a battle going on, but it is all Mark Schmierbach. You can see him there in the view. Now we've got that 12 of Schleicher and that 2 of Travis Thompson. Boy, Schleicher, he's not used to being in third, is he?
He is not, but he's doing everything he can to try. Travis Thompson's doing everything he can to try and get around the number 12 Clover Construction of Trident, jumping on the inside, jumping on the outside, but right behind him is Randy Parch in the 66, who's getting caught up in that traffic. He's trying to maneuver his way around, but he's going to have to go way wide as they make their way down into turn 1. Our leader in the 35 is Mark Schmierbach, halfway through turn 1, followed by Miss Shelby Love, and the number 24, Clover Construction, the 12, a Trident Schleicher. But here comes Thompson, real quick on his inside. He's going to try and dive, but slamming the door is going to be Schleicher in the number 24.
Yeah, the 2 of Travis Thompson always seem to be on the wrong side of the coin flip, hoping to right that ship here in 2024. But Kay, does anybody have an answer already for the 35 of Schmierbach?
Before he even left, he left the dock, and within about, 100 feet, he was already 2 rooster tails ahead. That is experienced driving right there, a veteran driver out there in that 35 of Mark Schmierbach. We see him win time and time again. But Clover Construction, driven by Shelby Love, she's had some electrical issues and battery issues throughout the year. We talked to her yesterday afternoon, and she says, I think I got it figured out, and she's looking great sitting in second. The race is now for 3rd and 4th on the inside in the all blue and white number 2. Travis Thompson gets his door slammed on him again by Trident Schleicher in the 24.
Schleicher, obviously a young driver, but he's got a lot of really good experienced drivers around him, so I think he's like a sponge, right? That's the cool thing. Just sponges, and they soak up everything they get taught, and his ability to apply it immediately is really what I believe the sole reason why this young driver finds himself out on top of the season standings.
Well, and another thing is that we see them racing weekend after weekend after weekend with the different series throughout the year. I have seen that guy, I don't know, personally, I've seen him at 7 races just this year, but it's still a good run for 3rd and 4th. Coming on the inside once again is going to be Travis Thompson, number 2, going to try and stick his nose in there, and it's going to be Trident Schleicher once again, slams the door and gives him a gulp full of water coming through turn number 2. Right now, our leader is halfway down the backstretch in the ever-colorful number 35, followed by the all-white Clover Construction, driven by Miss Shelby Love, and a good run still for 3rd and 4th, but 3rd place is now being held by the number 24, or number 12 of Trident Schleicher.
Yeah, you see the 2 of Thompson now moving left him a lane. Boy, if he can get that K, Travis Thompson likes to go pin to pin, short way around the course. And at elevation here, we don't have, these are already underpowered boats with just a 2-cylinder 49.5 cubic inch outboard. I mean, this is a fishing motor, right? A tiller motor to everybody, but these guys tune things up. They put them on the back of these 15-foot long tunnel hulls, and they get boogieing. But elevation, right? Less air. Those carburetors, you got to open them up. You got to change the jets. And boy, it seems like some have figured it out, and some maybe just not quite there yet.
Well, they still have the rest of the weekend because we're only on our second heat of the weekend. So we're probably going to see some of these drivers go back into the pits, pull some jets out, switch them around just a little bit. We did do testing yesterday, but testing when you're out here versus racing against somebody who's sitting there right on your back hip trying to take away your position, two different factors right there, Thomas.
Yeah, we got the 6 minutes plus 1 lap race. We just got about a minute and a half left. You're going to see the white flag come out here in just a little bit. That's going to signify 1 remaining lap. I don't know if anybody's got anything for the 35 of Mark Schmierbach as he comes across the start-finish line, except for the 24 of Shelby Love. But I think all she cares about is keeping that 12 in her rearview mirror.
Exactly. I mean, you may be teammates on the beach, but once you get into the water, I mean, I've done that before, even with my family. When I've raced, I'm like, yeah, we're good friends here on the water or on the beach, but once we get out on the water, I want that top podium finish with that checkered flag.
And we continue to see the 12 of Schleicher and the 2 of Thompson. They got on screen. They're loud. Thompson crosses through the wake, goes out the outside. Is he going to stay out there? Yes, he does. Kay, why did he not cross back through the wake? Why would he stay outside to go the long way around the course?
Well, and sometimes you're trying to keep the RPMs up, trying to find clean water, smoother water to get around. This is also game plan. It's basically like a mouse trying to chase a cat. Never know what that mouse is going to do, when it's going to pounce, or you never know when the cat's going to make a mistake, and then you can jump right in and take that position away.
All right, right on. That makes a lot of sense. The 35 of Mark Schmierbach, he's even able to get the 66 of Randy Parch and the 78 of Marshall Gildermaster behind. Randy Parch a little off the pace. Illinois necessarily dialed in here as he sits back in 5th position. But boy, the 24 of Shelby Love, what a great turn she went there through turns 1 and 2. She seems to be the only person that can keep the 35 of Schmierbach at bay. I wonder if they may look for a different prop, try to get off the beach, because it seems like he hasn't gained any ground except for on the opening run from the start pontoon and that modified Le Mans start from the motor off to fire and go to the first pin. Since then, it seems like she's almost closed the gap.
Yeah, and I don't think that Mark was actually expecting that, because she has sat back in the back a little bit. This is still a brand new boat to her. She just got it not too long ago. Still trying to work through some of the, I don't know, just setups and techniques and stuff. And also she's one of our younger drivers, but you know, she's already starting to close that gap between her and Mark Schmierbach. White flag is out, 1 lap to go. Can she catch him on this final lap? Mark Schmierbach, your leader, for the last time goes into turn number 1. He is hammering it down because Shelby Love in the 24 is starting to close the gap, followed by the number 12, still Trayton Schleichert, still taking that 3rd place spot.
You know, I think the 24 of Shelby Love has got a good setup for the main event. If she can find maybe a slightly different prop to get her a little bit better off the beach. She struggled there, but clearly the 35 of Mark Schmierbach was like, listen, small course, straight shot, right? No bend through the middle of the course. He knew, small prop, it's all about jump, it's all about getting up on plane. And clearly he did that, because he is our winner here in the opening qualifying heat in Formula Lights, taking the checkered flag, going wire to wire from the pole out of Greenfield, Wisconsin. Runner for pizza in the number 35 of Mark Schmierbach. In 2nd, the SIG 24 of Shelby Love. And he got the battle rounding out for 3rd as he goes wide on a turn number 4. In his rearview mirror, he's got the 2 of Travis Thompson, but taking 3rd here in our opening qualifying heat in Formula Lights, the number 12 of Trayton Schleicher. So that's Schmierbach, Love, and Schleicher rounding out the podium. Clover Construction 2nd and 3rd as the battle for overall season points continues to heat up. Trayton Schleicher came in with 677 points. His teammate Shelby Love came in with 630, so that's 47 points separated them. Well, guess who just got more points than the points leader?
Exactly. I mean,
the prairie, you've got the high desert, you've got the mountains, but yet you get into these water valley communities and the lush greenery and the water meets the mountains that they have been able to put together here is not something I've ever seen before. It's a very unique place to live. So be proud if you're from this part of the world, because communities like this don't exist everywhere. We travel all over the country here on the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series, and I got to say, one of the best places to come back when we're not racing is the Front Range in northern Colorado, here in the beautiful metropolitan Windsor, Loveland, Fort Collins area. Also, I need to make a public service announcement to anybody here at the Roar of the Rockies. We do have FAA drone pilots on staff here at the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series to give you those fantastic overhead drone shots. This requires that no other drones are up flying in the air during racing. So if you have a drone, I'm going to ask you politely to please not fly throughout today until the conclusion of all racing. If you continue to choose to fly, I will send the Windsor police to confiscate your drone until racing is concluded today, and then you can have it back. So I'm asking very nicely, please, it's for safety, but let's do that as, ladies and gentlemen, our winner here from qualifying heat number 1 comes around in front of the start-finish line. Let's hear you another round of applause for the man taking qualifying heat number 1 out of Greenfield, Wisconsin, and that pizza-in machine, the 35 of Mark Schmierbach. Can he go wire to wire? Can he finally get his 2024 season? It's amazing to me to think that he doesn't even have a win yet so far on the series. He's your 2 years ago, he was your Formula Lights champion in 2022. I finished second in 2023, looking to try to get up into the top 2 spots here again as he sits back in third so far in 2024. So can he do that? We'll have to find out, but he did exactly what he needed to here in qualifying heat number 1, and that was take the checkered flag at a wire-to-wire victory. Now up next, we've got the Formula Ones. They're going to be loaded here, but hopefully in just a moment, we're going to have an opportunity to chat with the winner of qualifying heat number 1, the 35 of Mark Schmierbach, down there with my compatriot and partner in crime here this weekend, K-Dub, as we affectionately call her, Kay Myers. She hails from Seattle, Washington. I reside up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, both coming here to the great state of Colorado to enjoy ourselves here at the 2024 Roar of the Rockies. All right, is just moments away from having a chance to chat with the 35 of Schmierbach. Let's talk about the rest of the schedule this afternoon. Up next, we're going to have our first of 2 qualifying heats here in the Formula One class. We're going to have all 13 drivers lined up in the modified Le Mans Spark, 0 to 120 miles an hour in less than 5 seconds here on the shores of Pelican Lakes. In our Formula One class, we've got world and national champions as a part of this group here in the final round of the 2024 Formula One Powerboat Championship Series. We're just moments away from the first of 3 Formula One heats here at Roar of the Rockies 2024. All right, I'm going to turn it down to my partner, Kay. She's got our winner from qualifying heat number 1 in Formula Lights, the 35 of Mark Schmierbach. Take it away, Kay.
We're here with Mark Schmierbach. A great run, another victory showing that you have this 35 dialed in with a perfect setup.
Well, thanks to our team. Again, this is a real challenging course because of the altitude. And I ran out of air out there. So hopefully by final heat I'll have some air.
Well, we'll be looking forward to see you in the final heat. Any plans to make any changes? Because Shelby Love was right on your tail.
Yeah, well, it got a little rougher than I really expected it to. So, yes, we're going to make a slight change.
All right, well, there you have it. We might see some changes in the 35, but we'll probably see him with another checkered flag. But you've got some hot competition. Congratulations to another win of the 35 of Mark Schmierbach.
Thank you, and great crowd. Thanks a lot. This is a great venue.
All right, thanks, guys. Well, the 35 of Mark Schmierbach, never short of words. He's always got a plan. He's an engineer by trade, so he's like a chess master out there, always a few steps ahead. And there, you want to talk about the mad scientist. That's the guy right there. Running for RevChem and Chuck Skelton Racing, the 93 of RJ West, your reigning national and world champion in Formula One here in the U.S. He has been a one-man wrecking crew in Formula One here across 2024 after August 1st. And he had some early season problems, some severe damage to the bottom of the hull down in Louisiana, in Shreveport, Louisiana, where we saw some of the most treacherous racing conditions we've ever been a part of. Didn't able to get him fixed in time for Alton, Illinois, so he's coming in playing spoiler here in 2024 here at the final race. Can the 93 of RJ West play spoiler and knock off and really change the outlook or projections for a lot of different drivers here? Well, we're going to find out momentarily. But right now, we've got some other fantastic sponsors on the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series that I would be remiss if I didn't recognize, because they are the reason we're here in Colorado. First and foremost, JH Performance Boats. You'll see them out there on the water. Our rescue crews driving JH Performance boats. They're custom, handcrafted, shallow water bay boats built with the highest quality materials. Find them online at jhperformance.com. Seaway Marine, the title sponsor of the Formula Lights class. Seaway Marine, your one-stop dealership for current and vintage outboard and stern drive parts. They specialize in hard-to-find and no longer available new old stock for Johnson, Evinrude, Yamaha, Gale, Mercury, Force, and Chrysler outboard motors, as well as OMC, Mercruiser, and Volvo stern drives, as well as engine parts and Chris-Craft parts. Find them online, your one-stop boat motor shop, SeawayMarine.com. Racing Communications, their radios for racing. Seabolt Sports, world champion powerboat racing since 1939. For more on the legendary Seabolt family at SeaboltSports.com. Kicker Marine Audio, the official series audio partner of the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series. Living loud. Find out more at kicker.com. And Moto Marketing Group. Moto Marketing Group accelerating brands for over 35 years, from developing some of the most famous boat and race team graphics that look fast to websites that run fast. Moto Marketing Group is your one-stop marketing shop for branding, vehicle wraps, websites, photography, print, and design. They do it all professionally for a great price. Check them out at motomarketinggroup.com. And that wraps up our fantastic sponsors that are with us all year long. If you would like to come on board as a series sponsor here after viewing what you've seen here in the beautiful shores of Pelican Lakes, reach out to our race director, Tim Siebold, through our website at f1powerboatchampionship.com. Now, we also stream our races live here from YouTube all over the world. We've got people that watch us in Malaysia, Australia, all over Western Europe, China. We really have a global audience thanks to our partnership with the great folks at YouTube, be able to, as well as our broadcast partner, Live Race Media. Fantastic group of guys out of Madison, Wisconsin that are here race in and race out, allowing us to put together top quality footage of all of our racing here, wrapping up the 2024 season here at the Roar of the Rockies.
I love seeing the overhead drone views that they bring in. I mean, that is just ideal, especially when you're watching two boats go side by side, just racing down the course. The drone view is huge, and like you just said, we just do ask that if you have a drone, please do not drive your drone anywhere this weekend. That actually does put in some issues with our drones, so we want to make sure that all of our race fans throughout the United States and the world get the best footage. You all standing here get some of the great footage here, being able to see everything live from these. This is a beautiful venue, Thomas. I'm loving this course and this venue.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a fantastic course, right? The Lynn family and the Water Valley Company built this lake specifically with powerboat racing in mind, which is unique, right? I mean, that's not something that we get a part of now. Obviously, you know, he wanted to make sure there was beautiful beaches and this cool island in the middle of the lake, but he wanted to make sure that it wasn't too big so that everything was way far away, but he didn't want it too small so we couldn't have a race here. We used to run on one of the other lakes here at the Pelican Lakes Golf and Resort and Golf Club. Once they added this other side of the rest of the community, they brought us over to Pelican Lakes. It's now our second running here on Pelican Lakes. And again, what a beautiful facility, the fantastic VIP section down there. I mean, the island with the shade, the beach. It is an unbelievable community, and you feel that sense of community when you drive through the Water Valley communities in Pelican Lakes and things of those nature.
And they offered our drivers and our crew such a huge pit area, and luckily the pit area is situated right where it's at, so our race fans can actually walk through the pits and see these boats up close and personal, look inside the cockpits, ask the drivers and crew any kind of questions that they have about these different styles of boats that we have here, Tri-Hull, Formula Lights, and the big F1s. And our crews and our drivers are more than welcome to answer any of your questions and maybe even get you involved. You just talked about sponsorship. These drivers are always looking for sponsorship. I mentioned it a little bit ago. If you have a chiropractor center, you might want to sponsor one of the Tri-Hulls. You know, if you have an Evinrude or a marina around in the area, maybe sponsor one of the Formula Lights. You know, if you have a Mercury, you can, or know something about Mercury or involved with Mercury, you can also, sponsorship is huge for these drivers. And we talked about it, that it's not just here in Windsor, Colorado. All these sponsorships and these names, like right here on our TV, we're going to see the 22 of Kyle Maskell made the drive from Vancouver, BC, 28-hour drive. And right now, we're on YouTube, and we're spotting all of those sponsorships: JH Performance, VP Oil, and Maskell Racing. I mean, that is huge right there. I basically call it a floating billboard because it's floating here on the water, but it's floating all the way across social media.
Yeah, and Maskell's Collision and Glass running for GLH Construction here locally at the Roar of the Rockies in 2024. We talk about getting everybody ready here for the weekend. I know that you had a chance a little bit early to sit down with the 99 of Travis Yates. Let's see what you and the 99 of Travis Yates had a chat about here as they get ready to run that 4-stroke for the first time ever way up at altitude.
We are here with Travis Yates of JH Performance. Travis, 2019, your last time here, didn't really end as well as you expected.
No. Last trip out here, we were doing well, running good in the final, and just set the boat in a place where I didn't quite read the water the way I should. Rolled it over, so ended our race a little earlier than we planned. So the idea this go round is to top that, and we set the bar pretty low, so that should be an easy accomplishment.
I don't know if any boat racer can ever set it too low. You set it pretty high. You do a wonderful job out there racing, but you have to, because you have this issue with a punishment that goes on with the outlaw group. You've been punished. What was your punishment?
Yes, so the way we kind of do it is to keep us all kind of racing hard against each other, that whoever on the team finishes lowest, even if we were 1, 2, 3, and 4, number 4, whoever's the lowest on the finishing, or I guess finishing order, gets a punishment. And the punishment I had last was I had to get a spray tan out here in the pits, in front of everybody as soon as the race was over. So it was it gives you some motivation to do well.
Well, there was a couple other punishments. You had to wear your shoes backwards. I believe Grant had to do that. What were all the punishments throughout the season?
So I think last year at one point Grant had to get his ears pierced. Jeremiah had to wear some shoes backwards. Dustin had to eat the impossible chip, or the 1 chip challenge. So we're not nice to one another. People would think we're not friends if you see the things we put each other through.
Well, we're going into the last race of the season, and so we've got to make it a big finale of punishments. So what's the punishment?
Absolutely. So I don't know where Dustin sits around and comes up with this, or if it was him. I believe Mullet was in on it as well. But the last punishment for this race is midget wrestling.
Do explain.
So apparently it's a thing. You can hire some little people to come out and put on your own wrestling match. So it's going to be a tag team match with whoever's lowest in F1 and lowest in tri-hulls, and that is the punishment for whoever finishes last at this one.
Well, this outlaw group is definitely a different breed, all the way out from Texas. You guys do a wonderful job of entertaining us on and off the water.
We're here, we have a good time no matter how the outcome. We always try and finish and do well, but we have a good time doing it.
All right, well, good luck to the rest of the weekend. It's going to be fun to watch. You can't miss this boat. Saying, okay, well, at this race last year, we finished here. We had our speed at this. Now we're going to have to take that information and move it over to the following year. But sometimes we change the course up a little bit. I know that we've changed the course from years past here. At different races, they change the course up. But these drivers work together so hard as a team, the outlaw team, to be able to put themselves on the podium. But we just talked about it. They want to be top on the podium because they don't want to be punished later.
Absolutely, Kay. They work hard and they play hard. And, I think there's a lot of teams that, there's a lot of jealousy there. Because, right, they want to have that much fun. I mean, you look at, like, the 93 of RJ West. He is your typical top driver, right? Kind of isolates himself. Not necessarily, right? He's here for business. And it's not that they aren't, but he is your typical racer that's going to be locked in racing mode. He doesn't really want to goof around. It's just the way they're wired. And you look at the outlaw team, and you're like, how can you be ready when you're like, giving each other wedgies and they're wet willies before they hop in the boat? But that, I think, is a part of that unique team dynamic, like you were mentioning, that is so fantastic and is hard to recreate, right? Other teams may try to do what Outlaw is doing here in the future as they've seen the success. You look at the 6 of Grant Schubert, the 69 of Cole Mullet Wearing, the 26 of Briston Sherman. I mean, they got 8 boats on that team, 4 Formula One, 4 Texas Tri-Hulls, the 5 of Ruben Stafford. They're all fantastic. And I don't know if we'll ever see a team dynamic like that again, but for now, it's super fun to watch.
Oh yeah, it's fun to even be in their pit area because it's a huge group over there. You can't miss that trailer. It's out on the backside of the pit area. You say that they're kind of like the outlaw group. Well, they kind of outlaw themselves in the back of the pit area, but that's because they have such a massive array and a huge trailer. And the trailer itself, when that first pulled into the pits, I looked at that and I just started busting up laughing because they have all their pictures on the side of their trailer of their faces, and then you've noticed it, but even the white on the tires says the Outlaws.
Oh yeah, they've absolutely done everything they can, and it's so fantastic to see them here, and we wish them the best success. And I'm super excited to see two teammates slug it out 39 points apart, and they're here with the ability to do that because of our local sponsors. And we're gonna big shout out to some of those local sponsors right now. First and foremost, our title sponsor for 2024 here at the Roar of the Rockies, the great folks at the Water Valley Company. The Pelican Lakes Golf and Resort Club, and this entire portion of Windsor was developed by the Lynn family and Water Valley communities, and what a great place it is to work, live, and play. Norris Design. For nearly 4 decades, Norris Design has been dedicated to helping the world grow through the power of placemaking. Partnering with clients around the globe, they are transforming the way people live, work, and play. Advanced Homeowners Association Incorporated. They specialize in HOA property management services to homeowners, associations, and metropolitan districts in the Denver Front Range and beyond. Whether your community is a townhome, a condominium, a metropolitan district, or a single-family community, they make it their focus to make your community a great place to live. PCL Construction. From small renovations to complex billion-dollar projects, from sports arenas to water treatment plants to petrochemical facilities and beyond, PCL has you covered. They redefine full service and bring expertise across all project types. PCL Construction. Exodus Moving and Storage, On the Move. They were the On the Move sponsor here in 2024. On the Move, brought to you by Exodus Moving and Storage for nearly 3 decades. This family-owned and operated moving company is located in the heart of Colorado, has been helping individuals, families, and businesses relocate with ease. Handling their valuables with the utmost care and professionalism, they have grown to serve the entire state of Colorado, extending their trusted services to Fort Collins, Boulder, Denver, and beyond. Their local roots and commitment to the community remain strong as ever. Exodus Moving and Storage. ProLift Crane and Riggings. They strive to maintain the highest standards while exceeding your expectations at all levels. They not only honor commitments, but are known for delivering nothing but the best. They aim to create successful client relationships that allow them to meet even or exceed the goals of each of their projects. The Front Range's only choice for crane rental and riggings, ProLift Crane and Riggings. And rounding out our local sponsors here in this portion as we get ready for the first Formula One heat, Island Lake Marine, Colorado's only on-the-water boat dealership with locations in Denver, Fort Collins, and now Las Vegas. Find your next adventure and book your next test drive online at islandlakemarine.com. All right, well, you see here those motors have started to come to life. We've got the majority of the boats on the water. They crane them in 2 by 2 from the pits. They put them underneath the bridge, on the other side of the bridge, and we've got most of them on the water here. Let's take a look at our starting lineup so far and our points through the first 3 rounds of 2024 as we look to wrap things up here in the Formula One class and crown another champion in 2024. Kay, it's been the year of the Apex, right? Yes. The APX 250 V8 4-stroke made its emergence here in 2024, a conversion from the V6 200 horsepower that just from a competition standpoint, they recognized they had to make some changes. A lot of drivers from the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series integral in helping Mercury Racing make that change. Mercury Racing, a fantastic partner of the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series. But let's take a look at our season standings. Before we get started here in the opening qualifying heat, where is everything before we start this weekend? Now, we award points in all qualifying heats and in the main event. 400 points up for grab out in front right now with 700 points on the nose. The 03, that's the Plash Lighting of Dustin Terry, the young driver out of Houma, Louisiana, coming into this on top with a bullseye on his back.
Well, and he just came in because he has issues at home. We had some weather conditions at home. He had to basically batten down the hatches at home in Louisiana, and then he finally made his appearance first thing this morning. Dustin Terry, the 03. Glad to see everything is okay at home, and you're out here to be able to try and defend your High Point championship, because Dylan Anderson is sitting right behind you. That's the bright blue number 17 Anderson Marine out of Nashville, Tennessee. Anderson has always been kind of sitting right back there, trying to be able to catch up and get onto that top podium finish. His first run, I remember very vividly, was in Alabama, and it was so much fun because when you're a boat racer, when you get your first, then you get what's called tossed in the lake. And I remember being there when about 6 of his coworkers all tossed him right there in the lake.
Yeah, absolutely, Kay. It's been an interesting few years, but I need attention here locally in Windsor, Colorado. Again, I mentioned the drone, and I saw a drone just now flying over here on the island side of the lake. I will ask you again nicely, please ground your drone. This is FAA airspace while we are racing. These are licensed pilots. We cannot have you in the air for safety. These drones are doing an excess of 150 miles an hour at times to overtake and give you guys these fantastic shots. So I don't want to have a police officer confiscate your drone. It's your toy. I want you to have fun, but I need those drones grounded while we're racing. That doesn't mean you fly between races. That means until racing is concluded today, I'm going to ask you to keep your drone down. I know you probably brought it because you wanted to have some fun and get some cool shots of your own, but unfortunately, because we use drones in our TV production, you need to stay grounded throughout the day. Sorry about that, Kay, but yeah, you're talking about the 17 of Dylan Anderson. Seems like always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Sits in that same spot with 674 coming in second, but right behind him, another one of those outlaw knuckleheads. We call him Jeremiah, get out of my way. Mayo sitting in third in points coming into the final round with 661, 39 points behind his teammate and our leader, Dustin Terry. Man, they are stacked up tight at the top.
Well, he's also got somebody coming right up on his heels pretty quickly, and that's going to be with 649 points. That is a pretty small gap. That's going to be I call it the sea of yellow. Can't miss it. Whenever you walk through the pits, it's like, where's Rinker? Oh, there's the Rinkers. They're the bright yellow number 52 out there with their big, huge amount of boats over there. Chris Rinker, at the last couple races has had a few issues, but, worked him out and got him out there. He's feeling extremely confident when we're coming into this race here in Windsor, Colorado for Roar of the Rockies.
Yeah, he's really that last driver with an outside shot, right? 51 points out. We give away 400. We don't expect the top 3 drivers to not race in the qualifying heats. Hey, anything can happen, but he's really got an outside shot. Then in 5th, the young driver in his 2nd year in Formula One with another 4-stroke, right? So that's our second in the top 5 that has that 4-stroke package from Mercury. That's the Captain Mark Seafood Market with 530 points of Grant Schubert in that number 13 boat. And boy, what an impressive young driver this is, and I think we have a lot more to hear out of this young driver in the years to come.
And over the last couple years, he moved out from, well, he hasn't moved fully out of the tri-hulls because he's still doing that for fun on the side. Watching him move up into the Formula Ones, it's been great to see him. And, whenever you talk to him, he is so just, I don't know, I guess it's just a South thing that he's just so, yes, ma'am. So I always talk to him, and I come up to him in the morning, and he actually laughs at me. I go, so Grant, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, he's now. His family members might tell you he's got a little bit more than he's in view, but he's in 5th. He's doing fantastic. Right behind him, 6th in the season series points with 529 points, one half of the Clover Construction Racing Team, the number 24 of Spencer Love.
And right next behind him with 498 points is his brother. So we've talked about teammates with the Outlaws. Well, now you've got this key factor of 2 brothers racing against each other. They've been doing it for years. They're out of the Pacific Northwest, or they're out of California.
West Coast.
West Coast, I should say. And, they're a great group right there out of California. They make the drive together. They got that whole Clover Construction family all out there. And, so in that pit area, you have 2 brothers, and then you got Spencer's daughter racing. So you got that part in there. And then you've got Bill Rucker in there, Papa Bill Rucker. So it's all a big family weekend.
Absolutely, as these guys are now finally all on the water, we're going to get them some hot laps, get those motors tuned up and ready to go. We're going to get them lined up on the start pontoon, right? We're going to do a modified Le Mans start just like we did the Formula Lights. We're going to start with 1 minute gun. You're going to hear that flare go off at 1 minute. We're going to count down in 10-second increments all the way to 20 seconds, and then we're going to go under starters orders. We get back to these points. Sitting in 8th in points is the driver that you spoke to just a little while ago, the 99, Travis Yates, coming in at 436 points.
Can't miss that boat, that bright green number 99. One driver that we're missing this weekend, and he's another great veteran driver, and that's going to, and I'm sure he's at home listening, so we want to say hi to him, to Jeff Reno. He's sitting right now in 9th place.
Yeah, and with 398 points, the Okeechobee, Florida native has had a busy 2024, was unable to make it here. Right behind him, the young driver from right here in Windsor, Colorado, is rookie campaign, full season here in 2024. That beautiful green and purple Selin Technology sponsored entry. The local boy with 351 points, sitting 10th in the season standings, the number 29 of Jared Jensen.
Right behind him in 11th place is Andrew Tate of the number 13 Phenom Racing. Unfortunately, unable to make it here because that guy races like pretty much everything.
It's
so this weekend, he unfortunately had to step back out of the Formula One and step back into what's called an H1 Unlimited hydroplane. He's sitting in San Diego right now. Already had a great start yesterday.
I heard 165, like 7.5 miles an hour over the case.
Yeah.
I mean, he that's what he does, right?
Yeah. Well, he was born into it. He's a 4th generation driver. I mean, really.
Yes. As some would say, he's a big, hairy American winning machine. And he sits in 11th. Right behind him in 12th, another driver, after some damage sustained in a couple of back-to-back races, not able to be with us, 237 points. In 12th is Chris Fairchild. Then, with 230 points, is the next driver, RJ West, in the number 93 boat. Here's a caveat to that. He also just won a national championship and a world championship. So you can see him there running for RevChem and PCL Construction here in 2024. He's probably the lowest points.
But the biggest target.
But everybody thinks that he's starting on the pole. He qualified with a fast lap qualifier, number 1. I mean, at the end of the day, wow. How are you in 13 points? But this is what happens. He went to Shreveport round 2, destroyed the bottom of the boat, had to bring it back to California, had to repair it. We had a race 3 weeks later. He couldn't make it. Boy, when you got a short season like we do here in 2024, it makes it real tough for that driver. But he came here this weekend to really, kind of leave a good taste in the mouth at the end of the season and make sure everybody understands the statement that is, hey guys, in 25, you're all going to be chasing me.
Well, and he's got the brand new Apex. We've talked about this a little bit ago. He was one of the first drivers to get that Apex motor, and he struggled a little bit.
Yep.
He had some issues with the starting dock, and he was just fearlessly, day after day, looking over data, going testing. I mean, I think he's the, between all of these drivers, I think he is the one person that has more testing time than all of these drivers put together. And, and all that testing, all that data research, all that talk with Mercury and DeWalt Props has now paid off because he is one that everybody's like, how do you do this, RJ?
Yeah, and no surprise there. He started on the pole position here for our opening qualifying heat. We got 2 qualifying heats today, 1 tomorrow, but the 93 of RJ West, he's going to start in the catbird seat right here, and it's unique. Most years, we start on one side or the other of a river. That's where we've been racing most of 2024. So that means they have to go through the middle of the course, down to one of the far ends, and then start lap 1. We have a different here where our start pontoon is at one far end of the course. So instead of that bend or chicane through the middle of the course to start the race, it's a flat-out drag race for a half mile to the first pin. And I think a guy with that much testing, this is exactly what he's hoping for, because then he can't, there's no getting pinched off when you make that turn, right? So everybody's going to do a much better job of maintaining their lane. And when you're the guy sitting on the pole, that's music to your ears.
Yeah, exactly. And I was talking to some of the drivers. I was like, man, that is quite the shoot out of the dock down that back stretch. You'll see these drivers make it up to speeds of well over 100 miles per hour as they go down into basically turn the left. I mean, it's the G-forces that these drivers are tiny windshield with having drivers all around you on this first, basically it's going to be a crazy first turn that I've ever seen in all of racing in the 2024. But these drivers are prepped for it. If you were here yesterday and got to watch some of the drivers do their testing, you'll notice that some of them actually would go around in a couple circles, then they would go down towards that starting dock. They wouldn't go straight to the dock, but they would stop and then they would run it because they're taking like basically test runs down to that to see where they want to sit.
Saw a lot of that yesterday.
Yeah, well, and what they're looking for is, do I want to be in lane one? As a racer, you're always like, oh, I want to be in lane one. Well, when it comes to like tight corners, sometimes you want to be in lane two so you can keep the RPMs up. You don't have to dump the nose and lose a bunch of speed.
Absolutely.
So they were all out there with the game plan of, okay, turn one, buoy one, I want to be at lane two. By buoy 3, I want to be in lane 4, but now we got the key factor of, you were out there testing, picking your lanes, but what if, I don't know, Dustin Terry in the 03 decides he wants the same lane?
Right, that's where it becomes tricky, right? And that's where you'll see, potential penalties get handed out. And the hard thing in boat racing, your penalties don't get assessed till after the race is over. So unlike Formula One car racing, where you'll get a drive-through penalty of 10 or 15 seconds to drive into the pit lane, we don't have a pit lane, right? These guys are loaded with fuel. This is sprint racing at its truest form. It's give everything you got, leave it all on the water every time you're out there. There's no long-term game planning for pit stops or anything like that in Formula One powerboat racing. It is get up and go. We're going to run 7 minutes plus 1 lap here in these qualifying heats, and we're going to get probably about 17 to 20 laps, and it's going to get real interesting as they have some of the top drivers in the country, and I don't know. It's going to be hard, I think, for even some guys to get lapped, for the leaders to get around the back markers. The quality level is so high with our field here in Colorado. That's really where the racing's getting it real fun, isn't it, Kay?
Exactly. We do have one rookie driver out here this weekend. You're going to see he's going to go out there. It's a ball white boat number 9. He's got an X on the back of the boat. That tells the other drivers he's a rookie driver.
Yep.
And as a rookie driver, he does have to start at the end of the pontoon, at the end of the starting dock. Just kind of get some lap time, get some seat time in there.
Yeah.
But, sometimes those rookie drivers, they really come out here and they've got the best setup. So rookie drivers are ones to keep an eye on.
Yeah, well, I'll harken back to #NotARookie, a campaign we had a few years back with the 93 of RJ West, a 20-year veteran of tunnel boat racing, but never a Formula One boat. So just like everybody else, he had to qualify as a rookie. He didn't have to go to the back of the pack all season. Once you've proved proficient, officials can release your back of the start pontoon your rookie season. Peter not there yet. Peter Wilson out of Victoria Island, British Columbia, part of the BC boys, coming out with him in the 22 of Kyle Maskell. And how about the 22 of Kyle Maskell? This young driver out of Chilliwack, British Columbia, running for GHL Construction and Maskell's Collision and Glass, 4th off the start pontoon, 4th fastest in fast lap qualifiers. I'm pretty sure he turned a lot of heads this morning in fast lap qualifying.
I was actually sitting here talking to Miss Jane on the beach, and she was kind of looking at the timing, and she goes, "Who's that?" And I said, "That's Kyle Maskell." I said, "Keep an eye on that kid. I mean, he's only been around for a few years, but watch him, because I just watched him not too long ago at Springfield, Ohio, do a wonderful job." Kyle Maskell, they made that drive here for a reason.
Absolutely. He did 37 hours one way to Springfield, and it was to test the mettle to see if he can lead the charge, and we see potentially a much larger contingency of the BC boys in 2025 as they make an assault on the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series. The birdies tell me that very well could be happening, and with the motor packages and the work that those guys put up there in BC, I think they're going to be a lot more heads turning in 2025 with the boys coming down from the Pacific Northwest.
I think they're going to give our Outlaws a little challenge, because we've got 4 guys on the Outlaws. Then when you come to what we're calling the BC boys over there in Vancouver Island, if we can get Nass back into a boat, and if Brooke has a brand new composite boat sitting up there.
Correct.
I mean, we could have a challenge inside the pits between the Outlaws versus the BC boys. That would be kind of fun. I might have to go talk to that team.
Oh, absolutely. That would be fantastic. The BC boys got a pretty large contingency up there, and they're looking to, really get moving in 2025. So they've told me, former driver Rusty Wyatt, now leader on the Formula One H2O European and Formula One Racing Series. They sold that boat. That was a fantastic boat, a Moore-built French boat, to Mike Nass and the HNR Racing team. It's a part of that BC boy group. They're looking to bring that thing as a part of the party in 2025. We know that's a fast boat, but look at this lineup here. And let's talk about it, right? So 2/100ths of a second between first and second in fast lap qualifiers. Weird. They're both 4 strokes. In fact, the top 3 boats are all 4 strokes. 3 of the top 4 have that 250 horse V8 4-stroke outboard on the back. And I think the biggest thing that we've talked about to drivers is that dynamic ability of the computer to optimize airflow in a place where the air is real thin, real light, and it's always been, a finicky and gives drivers fits with the 2-stroke. The computer's doing all that on the fly. When they trim it in, when they trim it out, it's feeding it more air, it's pulling air out so that motor runs at optimal performance. Clearly shows it here as the 17 Anderson switched to the 4-stroke for this race, and we see 4 strokes first, second, and third.
Well, you and I saw it on Friday, testing, first thing out. Anderson went out with a completely different setup. He went out there with the 2.5, and then all of a sudden we're like, what happened? And all of a sudden he comes back out with a whole new boat and setup. Well,
he's got 2 boats with 2 different packages, right?
So what he was doing was basically setting that 2.5 up just in case something happens. So he's got the backup gear, but also a little test session while he was here in Windsor, Colorado, like you said, with the altitude change difference between here and Nashville, Tennessee. Going to be one to keep an eye on is going to be right out there the top 4 boats, because those are our fastest drivers here in the United States.
Absolutely. As we see there, that view of Chief Referee Doug Ray, the man in charge of all on-water activities. He calls all penalties. He enforces all penalties. He is our fearless leader while on the water. He is in charge of everything as part of coming up on the 1-minute gun. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're just moments away from the opening qualifying heat here in Formula One. 0 to 100+ miles an hour in under 4 seconds here on this 4-pin, 3/4-mile course on the shores of Pelican Lakes. Inside the gorgeous Water Valley communities right off of Pelican Lakes Resort and Golf Club here in beautiful Windsor, Colorado, right on the Front Range in the shadow of the Rocky Mountains in the great state of Colorado, here for the final round of 2024. Ken, the 03 of Dustin Terry, starting 4th here in heat number 1. Get out in front and maintain that points lead. Or will the man sitting in 2nd, who is to his left, the 17 of Dylan Anderson, get out in front of him and gain just enough points here in qualifying heat number 1, where he's your new leader after 1 qualifying heat. That's how close they are. Every single qualifying heat could potentially change the season point standings, as these 4 drivers that are locked in for this final race of 2024 to declare a series champion. There right now, you see Operations Director John Schubert communicating with Rescue Crew 1. And, while we've got a minute here, and I mentioned our rescue crew, the Sport Rescue Crew has been with us since the inception of the Formula One Powerboat Series. You'll see those are both on those JH boats out on the inside of the course. We've also got Jet Ski Jared, who is our pace jet ski and tri-hulls, as well as our first responder for anybody who goes over. He's there to get the boat upright. Our guys average about 15 to 30 seconds before they're in the water and typically have our drivers out. What a fantastic crew. And I know one of our drivers, Marty Cole, or one of the drivers of the rescue boats, Marty Cole, I've heard that this is going to be one of his last, if not his last, race with us here on the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series. And he's been such a pleasure to work with. We wish him all the best. But everybody on the sport rescue crew, what a great group of guys, and world-class, for sure, best in country here. And so glad that they're with us on the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series.
Yeah, I talked to him this morning. I was like, are you guys all ready? And I said, well, and they said, yeah, we're ready. We're ready. It's a little warm out. And I said, well, no offense. I really do hope that you guys stay nice and hot and steamy out there on the boat. I just don't want to see you guys get your feet wet. And they said that's their ultimate goal throughout the whole weekend, is to always keep their feet dry. And that is what we're going to plan on. We want to see these drivers out here racing as hard as they can, but the safety is a key factor. These drivers have 5-point harnesses. They're inside of a closed cockpit, and the safety cell that's inside of those cockpits, these drivers have to do what's called capsule training once a year, where they go inside the cockpit of one of these, they put it into a pool, they spin it around a little bit to get them disoriented, these drivers disoriented, and the driver has to get out on their own, which means that they have to stop, think, take the steering wheel off, pop the hood, jump, swim out from underneath, because they don't leave the right side up. The capsule's upside down.
Yeah.
So I mean, imagine trying the water force of pushing that lid down and trying to get out of this little tiny cockpit lid.
I've done it a few times myself.
I'm not gonna do it. No,
yeah, I know. You're a bit more claustrophobic than I am, but as an announcer, not a racer, I wanted to give myself the understanding of what it's like to be there. And it is you're underwater. There we go. Here we go. All right. Looks like we've got our buoys moved. We had to move the buoys to make sure that we had our gates set up because the drivers have to maintain their lanes through the first corner. And so we've got to give them a lane structure so they know where to stay and be safe here. There we go. 1 minute, drivers. 1 minute on the pole. The 93 of RJ West, your world and national champion here in Formula One so far in 2024. Can he be the winner? And start it off now at the Roar of the Rockies. 50 seconds, drivers, 50 seconds. Or will this 17 of Dylan Anderson, who looks like he's figured out his four-stroke package, be the winner here in Heat 1? 40 seconds, drivers, 40 seconds. Or could the 03 of Dustin Terry, sitting on top of the points pile, get out like a rocket and claim Heat 1 number 1? 30 seconds, drivers, 30 seconds. Or could it be the up-and-comer, the 22 of Maskell, who came out of nowhere? Let's see who's going to win qualifying Heat number 1 here in Formula 1. 20 seconds, drivers, you're under starters' orders. He drops the flag. They come roaring off the beach. What a great jump there by the 17 of Dylan Anderson. What happened to the 93 of RJ West? He just did not get off the dock there.
He did not. He usually is first off of that dock, but he's going to have a lot of work. But he does have that inside lane. We're going to have to see as they make their way into turn 1. Will Anderson give him that lane as they go into turn 1?
It looks like he might leave a little bit, but he's going to shut the door right here as they go out of turn number 4. No, he stays wide to the outside. We got a 2x2 drag race down the front straight. It's 4-stroke v 4-stroke. 17 of Anderson on the outside. The 93 of RJ West on the inside. Now he's got the overtake. Is he going to shut the door, Kay? Yes, he does. He slams the door short of the 93 of RJ West. Where did the 17 of Dylan Anderson come from? It looks like the bridesmaid is sick and tired of being that and is looking to be the bride. He's trying to make a statement win here in 24 and capture that series title.
Dylan Anderson looks like he's got the top end speed as he makes his way down that backstretch, but the corner speed belongs to RJ West. He gets a little squirrely coming through turn number 2, but they're going to make their way down the front stretch. Our leader in the 17, all blue, Anderson Marine, followed by the 93 of Mr. RJ West of Chuck Skelton Racing, and it looks to be Jeremiah Mayo in the number 8.
No, that's the 13, Captain Jack Seafood Market of Grant Schubert, then the 24 of Spencer Love, the 22 of Kyle Maskell, the 29 Selling Technologies of Jared Jensen. We're overhead of the 93 of RJ West. He's trying to track down our leader, the 17 of Dylan Anderson. There's a 91 of Peter Wilson, the young rookie out of Victoria Island, British Columbia. He's staying way to the outside and out of the way in that 91 machine as he had to start last off the start pontoon. He's on his backup motor already. The altitude not treating the 91 of Wilson well, but boy, has the 17 of Dylan Anderson got this thing boogieing.
He has, and he is just starting to inch his way farther and farther away from RJ West, but he's not giving up very easily. This has got a great race for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Dustin Terry in the 03 trying to maneuver through the rest of the fleet. Got a little bit of a late start going through, but now he's on the hunt to try and chase down the number 24 of Spencer Love of Clover Construction.
And the 03 of Dustin Terry started 3rd. He shuffled back to 5th. Not what you expect for the guy in the points lead, and a lot of time under his belt in that 4-stroke. There we see the 22 of Kyle Maskell fighting out with the 29 of Jared Jensen. Jensen up in 7th. He's looking for his best finish in a qualifying heat in his young rookie campaign. That Selling Technologies composite Hoffman Formula One is strolling here at altitude.
I know a lot of our race fans are like cheering on their favorite driver, but right there, the number 29, that all green, that's your local driver.
Yeah, you're going to hear him hooting and hollering for that number. Well, look at there, the 93 of RJ West. He's pushing it so hard, he lost the rear cowling down in turn number 4. He's giving it everything he's got to try to catch the 17 of Dylan Anderson, because you got to think he's looking to spoil everybody's weekend here, because he came in after all that damage early in the season, 13th in points.
You know, and that's not the first time that has come off. We're going to see what's going to happen. I don't even see it floating out here, but I'm sure it is. That's going to make another factor in MB, because that's going to change the balance of the boat.
The turbulence behind the cockpit.
Each one of these drivers has to go, they have weights inside of their boats, and RJ West just got really loose coming out of turn number 2.
He has really got that thing hammered down and run on the ragged edge, because he knows he's got to make hay. Now it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here as they start getting into some of those back markers. and the 93 of RJ West. He's only a little over a second behind our leader, and he, as our leader now gets by the 12 of Sean Love in that Clover construction machine, and starts to eye up the 9 of Johnny Fleming. This is where that experience, I think, of the 93 of RJ West could come into play in that cat and mouse game between him and the 17 of Anderson.
RJ West dives on the inside, but pops it up really high coming out of turn number 2. Now here's another factor. The water conditions have changed dramatically. They're coming up to back traffic. Some of these boats do better in rough water.
Absolutely.
Some are actually more inclined to do better in the smoother water. On the inside, your leader halfway down the backstretch in Dylan Anderson. On the outside, RJ West in the all red, white, and blue. Coming out of turn number 1 is your third place boat. That is the number 13, driven by Grant Schubert.
Yeah, we see him on the back straightaway. There's the 17 of Anderson, our leader. Now he's got the 9 of Johnny Fleming. As they go side by side now, here 93 of West has nowhere to go because the back markers move to the outside. He gets absolutely hosed down by the 91 of Peter Wilson and the 9 of Johnny Fleming. He is in it, in the thick of it right now. Not what he wants to see, because now you see that lead is and the 17 of Anderson.
But now that he was able to get around Fleming, you can see he hard put right down out of that turn, down the backstretch, and now he's starting to close the gap once again between him and Dylan Anderson. But Anderson is now starting to come up some back traffic.
Yeah, now you see the 93 of RJ West going way wide to the outside, trying to keep that RPMs up and find clean water here on the shores of Pelican Lakes, as it's been a doozy. You know who we haven't heard from back in 8th? Look at that, the 52 of Chris Rinker back in 8th position. The 3rd place for the season standings, the number 8 of Jeremiah Mayo back in 9th position. What is happening to these 2-strokes? The 4-stroke domination seems like it might be here, Kay.
It is. It's the evolution. I mean, I talked about it before when people were talking about bringing this new APX motor in, and I'm like, you know, we're moving up in the days. I mean, when's the last time you...
In this opening qualifying heat.
That was one heck of a turn, and you just said it, because back traffic can become a factor. Dylan Anderson decided to jump on the inside, unfortunately had to dump the nose, lose a little bit of speed. Mr. RJ West jumped to the outside, keeping it up and keeping the RPMs up, keeping the speed up. This back traffic has been just a key factor lap after lap. RJ West is your leader at this time, coming out of turn number 2 with the... We used to be a number 93 on this side, but it's the all red, white, and blue boat.
Yeah, he gets by lapping the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo, the man who sits in 3rd in points. How ridiculous is that to say he's getting lapped here? There's the 99 of Travis Yates. He's pushing hard. But the battle I like to see going on right now coming out of the north end of the course, that's the 13 of Grant Schubert sitting in 3rd. In 4th, the 24 of Spencer Love looking, dancing it down the front stretch. And here comes the 03 of Dustin Terry. Your points leader is still sitting in 5th position. He needs to gain more ground. If he does not want to give up points to the 17 of Dylan Anderson, he's got to stay as close to him. So you can imagine what a great run there as he gets by the 24 of Spencer Love. But let's watch it down to the north end of the course. Can Love hold that inside line? And the 03 of Dustin Terry chops the door and he moves up into 4th. He knows what he has to do. He's got the pedal to the metal, and he's only got 56 seconds plus 1 lap to do it here in qualifying heat number 1.
You know what, I've been watching Dustin's game plan and his strategy, and he goes into the turn, slams the door, comes way wide, looking for the smoother water, I guess you could say here. Then he dives it back in. It's called a slingshot maneuver.
Absolutely. Look at him now here. He's in the same view as the 13 of Grant Schubert and that Captain Jacks. They are so close. He's just 1 second behind the 13 of Grant Schubert. Can he catch him here in these last couple of laps in this opening qualifying heat?
Grant Schubert just got caught up in some back traffic with Sean Love, and he's going to pop out of the rooster tail, and that's going to throw Dustin Terry even farther out.
Yeah, Dustin's got to go way wide to the outside, but he's okay with that. He likes that wide line. The 12 of Sean Love going pin to pin. Here comes the 03 of Dustin Terry down into the corner. Can he make it out of the south end of the course through turns 1 and 2 in 3rd position? No, great move there by the 13 of Grant Schubert. He just stayed true to his line, stayed pin to pin. And that wide line around the course, you have to have a ton of extra speed to pass that way.
You know, white flag is out. All of our drivers do have radio communication with their drivers, and right now, that is when their drivers or their radio personnel is telling their drivers, hey, this is it. We're almost to the end. The white flag is out.
And our leader comes out of turn number 3, off of turn number 4. No cowling on the back of that Chuck Skelton Racing Machine PCL construction. But as he walks in out of turn 4, taking qualifying heat number 1 out of Antigua, California, number 93, RJ West.
Followed by the number 17, that ever beautiful blue Anderson Marine, Dylan Anderson.
And rounding out the top 3 is the battle we got going down on the backstretch. It looks like the 03 of Dustin Terry got by the 13 of Grant Schubert. He did what was necessary. He's going to be 1 position behind as the points battle heats up, rounding out the top 3 in that all black flash lighting number 3, Dustin Terry.
A great run by the J's Performance driver of Grant Schubert in the number 13. Held that third place position until the very last corner, and unfortunately, sitting in fourth.
4 strokes, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pretty impressive. I think this may be a well, look who, albeit 20 seconds off the pace of our winner, was the 03 of Dustin Terry, but he was in first place coming into this qualifying heat. He's going to get some points for this heat. So is Dylan Anderson and everybody else. But where was the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo? He's all the way down in 9th. Jeremiah is going to tumble probably back to 4th position, or would tumble back to 4th, but the fourth place boat of 52 of Chris Rinker, he finished in 8th. What is happening to the two-stroke here at altitude? It does seem that the dynamic capabilities of that, fuel-injected, computer-driven new 4-stroke APX 250 this is really its coming out party. We were wondering what was going to happen at altitude here. It's become such a trickier way for these 2-strokes to operate. They've got to rejet the motors, but clearly not the problem with the 4-stroke, as he's now making his lap around the Pelican Lakes here as he comes across the start-finish line. Ladies and gentlemen, let me here locally, put your hands together. Your winner after a rough start off the start pontoon, taking the checkered flag in qualifying heat number 1, the number 93 of RJ West. I think your driver who was probably the most impressive here in qualifying heat number 1 was the 29 of Jared Jensen, and I would say / the 22 of Kyle Maskell. Both qualified better than they have all season long. I think if the 22 of Kyle Maskell is probably going to be kicking himself for a terrible start. Otherwise, he might have been in that top 3 conversation here in heat number 1. He's my dark horse pick for the weekend to end up on the podium. The young driver out of Chilliwack, British Columbia. But also the 29 of Jared Jensen. He tests on Pelican Lakes. This is his home test waters. We race here. Clearly it shows they've got that 2-stroke package dialed in. Started with the 4-stroke this year. It was a little bit too much for him to handle in his rookie campaign. Decided to start with the 2-stroke. Probably see that 4-stroke make its appearance in 2025. But a solid run for the rest of the 9 of Johnny Fleming, the 12 of Sean Love. He didn't like that because his brother beat him by like 5 positions. They were just 29 points apart coming in. He was really hoping to be the number 1 on the team. But boy, if the first qualifying heat is any indication of how this weekend's going to go, it looks like the 12 of Sean Love's going to have a lot on his hands. And then rounding out our rookie first race ever on the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series out of Victoria Island, British Columbia, the number 91 of Peter Wilson. All right, well, that wraps up qualifying heat number 1 here in the Formula One class. Up next, we're going to have the Texas Tri-Hulls back out on the water bumper boats at 65 miles an hour. Opening heat, wire to wire by the 26 of Michael Schubert. The 17 of Neil Marsh. Points leader coming in. Well, he was your on-the-move specialist in the opening heat. He went from 9th to 3rd, moving 6. Now we're going to do reverse order of points. This is what's real fun when you get into the deeper qualifying heats here on the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series. We're going to take a quick break from our series sponsors, and we'll be right back with more racing action here at the final round of the 2024 Formula One Powerboat Championship Series. It is the Roar of the Rockies here in beautiful Windsor, Colorado.
Mercury Racing was forged in the heat of competition. The will to win is in our DNA. Competition isn't just what we do, it's our proving ground. It's about the pursuit of power, performance, and endurance that pushes our limits and yours.
Oh, probably.
We create premium marine power to take you faster and farther. The world offers limits. Mercury Racing offers freedom. Live wide open.
VP Racing Fuels has been the official fuel of racing for over 45 years. But VP isn't just race fuels. VP offers a wide range of oils, additives, and our new Stay Frosty coolants to help keep your street car, tow vehicle, or weekend warrior running at its best. VP products are engineered to keep your vehicle running smooth and looking great for your daily commute with our octane boosters, fuel treatments, and quick detailing products. Explore VP's full product line at vpracingfuels.com.
All right, and my partner, K-Dub, has made her way down to the start pontoon. We're just waiting to get word that she's ready to chat with our winner from qualifying heat number 1. Let's turn it down to Kay with our winner, the 93 of RJ West.
All right, and with the winner of the last heat, RJ West, you were a little slow on the start getting off the dock. What happened?
I didn't see the flag go down. We didn't do a test flag, so I didn't see where it was.
Well, you did a wonderful job. It took you about halfway through that race, but you were able to get around Dylan Anderson. You had a lot of back traffic that were making an issue for you there.
Yeah, this place is crazy. It's a confined area, and it gets really rough here, so I just kind of try to stay as close as I could to him and make a plan for the rest of the weekend. So.
All right, well, another congratulations. 3 weeks ago, you became the national champion. 2 weeks ago, the world champion. And already you're starting your weekend off with a great checkered flag.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, that was the 93 of R.J. West, the man who started on the pole, relinquished that pole after a rough start, gained it back with about 5 laps to go, ran it all the way to the finish. And he's collected some valuable points in his spoiler weekend, really looking to try to ruin the weekend for a lot of our top guys in the season series points. Again, 93 RJ West won the opening round in Port Neches. He came to the second round and tore a 4-foot hole in the boat. Well, he didn't. A giant log floating down the Red River in downtown Shreveport, Louisiana, caused him to miss that entire weekend because it happened in the first qualifying heat. We got 3 of them. So he lost all the points in qualifying heat, 2, 3, and the final. They didn't have enough time. They tried to, but didn't have enough time a couple weeks later to repair that boat and make it back to the Midwest of the United States for our round 3 in Alton, Illinois. At that point, he knew the title was all but lost. He was just so far back in points. He came in with 230 points. Our leader is 700. And so he looked at this weekend as, all I'm here to do, man, is just spoil people's weekend, right? He is here to make sure that everybody knows that the real fastest driver in America is the 93 of RJ West. He may not have won the series, but everything in 2025 is going to go through him. That's the vibe I get from the Chuck Skelton Racing team. I really believe that they are all in for 2025. They recognize 2024 didn't go as well. I think they're preparing a backup boat so that they can keep the 93 of West if there is damage on the water, because we aren't, this isn't like NASCAR where there's 34 events and you can have one bad one and, you know, win a race 14 races later and still get yourself into the championship chase. Here you miss one, it's severely detrimental, and that's what happened to the 93 of RJ West. But on the water now, you'll see our Texas Tri-Hulls are back doing what they do. Bumper boats at 65 miles an hour on this 2-pin quarter-mile course here right in front of the island. Fantastic views for our teams here as the 26 of Michael. Exciting, right? I mean, we're going to see it here in this second heat, K, reverse order of points from heat 1. So that means Michael Schubert, wire to wire. Hey, you got to start outside lane, row 8. We got 16 2x2 rows. That's outside of lane 8. That makes it significantly more difficult than his inside row 1 where he started in qualifying heat number 1.
Well, and to race fans, if you're just joining us, you did see how they change positions often just in that little 6 minutes. And these drivers have to work their way through, maneuver their way through not only the back traffic, and they have to make their way through this rough water. And if you look inside, this is what I always tell our race fans. Not only look at the boat and look how great it looks out there and how crazy it looks, watch the driver's hands. They're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. If you're up there on the bridge, you guys might get a little bit better view of an overhead view of these drivers as they make their way through the 6 minutes. Their hands are maneuvering back and forth so fast, and they're trying to make their way through each and every turn. We saw it on the last heat. We had 4 boats just basically smash into each other, and then they had to basically untangle themselves. It's kind of like untangling your Christmas lights, to get them ready. You had to untangle themselves and then get back out on the course. And so that's what I love. I actually love watching the trials. It's one of my favorites.
Oh, I mean, who doesn't love this, right? I mean, you think there's no skill, right? Or maybe, not as much skill as a Formula One, but actually we've had a lot of Formula One drivers. Dustin Terry, our points leader, the 52 of Chris Rinker, the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo, the 13 of Grant Schubert, all either current or ex Tri-Hull drivers. And, I think what this class of racing really allows you to, how do I focus amongst sheer and utter chaos? Because Tri-Hull racing is nothing if it isn't sheer and utter chaos every turn. So if you can keep your game plan and keep your wits about you in a tri-hull, imagine once you get the precision of a Formula One machine in your hands.
Yeah.
How that can translate. And I think we see that in the tight positions. The Ada Mayo, the 03 at Terry, these guys don't blink because they know and they trust themselves so much, and they gained a lot of that knowledge and experience right here in the Texas Tri-Hull class.
Exactly, and like you were just saying, you have to have split-second maneuvers to be able to get your way through. And they run a one-buoy turn. I mean, that's just asinine. That's just crazy.
I mean, one buoy turns were the formula, the old V8 days from the late 70s and early 80s, dominated by the likes of Benny Roberts and some of the other great ex-Formula One drivers. But, I mean, those V8s couldn't turn like the V8s of today. And so they ran these big one-pin wide sweeping turns, much like you see. I mean, realistically, an H1 Unlimited hydroplane could run a one-pin turn. They just can't turn that tight. But it's really one big turn, right? It's not two distinctive turns. Where in Formula One racing, you'll see two distinctive turns. Well, these are tri-hulls, right? They're essentially almost a quasi V-bottom. V-bottoms don't turn like a tunnel hull. They don't have those two rails to turn on. So these guys go down to one pin, and it makes for one heck of a show. And speaking of that, they're getting ready to roll. Let's take a look at qualifying heat number 2. On the inside of row 1 after a terrible qualifying heat number 1, he's on the pole here in heat 2, and he needs to run this to wire if he's going to have any chance at knocking off the 17 of Neil Marsh. But on the inside of row 1 here in heat number 2, the 37 of Mason Rinker.
And keep an eye out, this Jack Schubert, unfortunately, we both watched it at Alton, kind of had a little bit of so he went upside down.
Yes.
And when these tri-hulls, you can actually hear the crowds. It's kind of funny. You hear him go, oh, and he made it through it. But Jack Schubert in the number 13, he's going to be battling it out with Grant Schubert.
Yeah, he's got his brother out there and a lot of guys that, he's looked up to. He's been around for a long time but was never old enough to drive. Now stepping in, right? That's both sons of John Schubert, technical and operations director for the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series, are now both in boats, and he's on the outside of row 1. On the inside of row 2, he started really well but did not perform well in heat 1, trying to get it off the schneid and on the right track. Inside of row 2, that's the 69 of Cole Mullet Wearing.
And I talked to Andy Miller this morning. He came up and he started talking to me about the race this weekend. He's like, I'm so excited for this. He goes, I just love coming here and racing against my friend. And it's going to be Andy Miller in I call it the double D1.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I call it the DD1, right? And he's the only guy with letters in his name. And that comes from his time in the offshore days. He's raced offshore boats. He's raced quads. He's raced motocross. I know both his son and daughter are very accomplished quad and motocross. Wichita, Kansas. But Andy Miller, in his first full season in 2024, looking to make some strides. Got a new motor this weekend. Is hoping to get a little bit better finish than he has in the last couple weeks. But he sits on the outside of row 2 here in our second of 4 qualifying heats.
In the number 52, we like this boat. So we watch this boat often, you and I do, and it's it's a little different this weekend. They decided to change the motor, and that was all brand new to him too this weekend. So that's going to be an interesting one to watch because it's going to be Mercury versus the Johnsons, and that should be interesting to see.
Yeah.
And it's only the second race of the weekend, but he did well in the last heat. Now he's starting up a little bit higher, smack dab in the middle. We'll see how that new Mercury's
going to be. And he's on the inside of row 3. That's the 52 of Tanner Rinker. On the outside of row 3, his crew chief and father is the motor guru in the Texas Tri-Hull class. He's got that John Deere Green sponsored machine. That's the number 33 of John Ottinger on the outside of row number 3.
JB Jensen's going to be sitting inside the cockpit of the number 93, another fast, aggressive driver out on the course.
And his only race so far this year, because he's been so busy, his home race, because he's from right here in Windsor, Colorado, brother to Formula One driver, the 29 of Jared Jensen. JB looking to do some damage here at his home race, maybe grab some hardware.
I think he would, but he's going to have to do that with sitting next to old man Jerry Scary Rinker in the number 10.
And that puts our top 4 rows as we've got them lined up here. Row 5 is the 93 of the 6 of Grant Schubert, then the 56 of Clint Dillard, the 1 of Corey Walker, the 17 of Neil Marsh. We drop the green flag, and here we go. The 37 of Mason Rinker on the inside of row 1. Trying to hold off the 13 of Grant Schubert as they run down. This, honestly, probably the stretch into the first turn, the most boring part of any tri-hull race, isn't it?
I don't know. Are you watching these guys basically.
It's before they get to the turn, though.
Oh,
I
okay,
mean,
yeah.
they're all in parade format down there, right? But the 37 of Mason Rinker is able to get out of turn number 1. Now here comes the 69 of Cole Mullet wearing up the inside, getting by the 13 of Grant Schubert. And then we've got the 52 of Tanner Rinker and the 33 of John Atcher. Oh, look out there, the DD1 of Andy Miller. What a great move down the inside. I thought he was going to take out the buoy, but he did. Working hard there as they're all wadded up down to the south end of the course. There's that John Deere Gray number 33. He is on the move right now, trying to track down the 52 of Tanner Rinker, who sits up in third. But the Rinker brothers sandwiching the 69 of Cole Mullet wearing comes into view now. And we've got a battle brewing here for second, first through fourth. As you can see them, they're all on screen now, coming into view in fifth position. That's the 10 of Jerry Rinker. He gets together with the 05, with the 93 of JB Jensen. And surprise, surprise, here comes the 17 of Neil Marsh.
I was going to just say that I'm watching Neil Marsh just pick him off one by one, making his way through. But as he goes through turn 1, he just gets literally sitting on the back of him. Is going to be Jensen in the number 93.
Hey, you know what? He didn't like that kiss that the 17 of Marsh gave him coming out of turn 1. Oh, no, Marsh might have a hole. He pulls off the race course. That is not good for the 17 of Neil Marsh. He's trying to get that thing to shore. With that means something has happened with the 17 of Neil Marsh, but he's so far out in front, he's got to preserve it because he's got to start every heat, and he's got to race in the final, so he's probably preserving the motor. It looks like something might have happened down there on the back of the motor. Well, the JB Jensen landed. That's going to be a lot of work for their team between now and the second heat, but let's get back to our leaders on the water. The 52 of Tanner Rinker sitting in third. There's the 33 of John Ottinger. Look at those top 3 boats there. It's Rinker, wearing Rinker, the 52 of Tanner Rinker. You know, he's like, let me get him. I'm going to get him. It's nothing more than to prove to his brother, dude, you should have moved to the 4-stroke like I did. This thing is scary fast.
Mason's sitting back there seeing that right behind him he's got Cole Marin. He's hoping that Cole's going to be able to shove him out, which he did, be able to shove out the 52 of Tanner Rinker.
Oh, no, it looks like we lost Super Dave Richards in that 29 Island Lake Marine machine, the rookie here in his first race in Tri-Hall. He's now pulled off the race course as well, as the shores of Pelican Lake are starting to get treacherous. And boy, so is that second place position right now for the 69 of Waring. As here comes the 52 of Tanner Rinker wide to the outside on the final lap. White flag is out. Go fast, turn left just 2 more times. Can the 52 of Tanner Rinker get by the 69 of Cole Mullet Waring? But I don't know if anybody has got enough room to catch our leader, the man going to wire, the 37 of Mason Rinker.
Mason Rinker doing a wonderful job, but we've got still a great battle for second and third on the inside. Cole Waring is able to hold off Tanner. Tanner gets shoved to the outside. Mullet is able to hold on to that second place. Checkered flag will go to Mason Rinker, Rinker Boat World number 37.
And then it's the 69 of Cole Mullet Waring, the 52 of Tanner Rinker, the 33 of John Ottinger, the 10 of Scary Jerry Rinker, the 93 of JB Jensen, and the 1 of Corey Walker. Then the 6 of Grant Schubert. He was in second in points. Boy, I bet you there was nobody, he was third in points. There was nobody that loved seeing the 17 of Neil Marsh dead in the water. Him and the 37 of Mason Rinker were like, oh, thank God. And I don't know what has gone on with the 17 of Marsh. He might be taking on a lot of water or might have just damaged that motor. As you see, look at the thrash job on the top of that cowling. That's all from the bottom of the 93 of JB Jensen. If you get too tight in the corners and you try to fight for a position, sometimes you come out on top, sometimes you end up sitting on the sidelines watching the rest of the race. All right, we're going to send Kay down to have a chat with the winner of qualifying heat number 2 here in the Texas Tri-Hall class, the 37 of Mason Rinker, who his weekend was over. If he didn't go wire to wire here in heat 2, he was 100 points behind the 17 of Neil Marsh. He probably dropped down to about 150 points behind, but he has definitely gained some of that ground back with the 17 of Neil Marsh finishing dead last here in this second qualifying heat. But let's take a look, for those of you online, for those of you here locally, if you want to see consolidated race results and some fantastic footage from our broadcast and TV partner, Live Race Media, check out our YouTube channel. Find us at F1 Powerboat Racing on YouTube. We've got our live stream going all weekend long. Don't forget, later on this season, look on Amazon Prime for a 4-episode TV series of the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series from 2024. But our winner, wire to wire, the 37 of Mason Rinker, Cole Waring, started third, right behind the 37 of Mason Rinker, was able to hang on to second. Great jump there, coming from 5th off the start pontoon, moving up to third, the 52 of Tanner Rinker. The 33 of John Ottinger holding tight there in 4th, started 6th, finished 4th, so he moved up a couple of spots. The 93 of JB Jensen, started 7th. He got up one position. The one of Corey Walker started way back down in 11th, and he finished 7th. So your on-the-move driver here in Texas Tri-Hall is the number 1 of Corey Walker. On the move, brought to you by Exodus Moving and Storage, your number 1 moving and storage solution company here in the Greater Front Range of Northern Colorado. There's the 17 of Neil Marsh. He is dejected. You know he's frustrated. He's got the hands up, waving to the crowd. But this is a first for the 17 of Neil Marsh. He's not used to not finishing heats. Normally he's used to being number 1, but he was dead last here in this second qualifying heat here in the Texas Tri-Hall class. But we got more racing coming up for you here after a word from our sponsors here locally at the 2024 Roar of the Rockies. Our local sponsors here are integral All right, first we're going to start off with the great folks at Water Valley. The Water Valley community's home of the 2024 Roar of the Rockies. Here at Pelican Lakes is our leader, this 37 of Mason Rinker, making his lap around after a great run there. But Water Valley community's the home of the Roar of the Rockies, and what a great place to live here in the Northern Front Range in Windsor, Colorado. Norris Design for nearly 4. This innovative organization provides construction specialists, and they leverage their expertise to customize the right approach for your project to exceed your expectations. Collaborative, driven, and innovative, they're focused on finding the best way forward and elevating your vision of success. PCL Construction. Again, on the move, that was the one of Corey Walker here in qualifying heat number 2 in Texas Trial. But Exodus Moving and Storage, for nearly 3 decades, this family-owned and operated organization located in the heart of Colorado has been helping individuals, families, and businesses relocate with ease, handling their valuables with the utmost professionalism. Find them online at exodusmovingandstorage.com. Nobleman Electric. Nobleman Electric Contracting has been a cornerstone in the community, involved in both leadership and development. From custom home and remodels to electrical system design and testing across residential, commercial, and industrial applications, online at nobleelectric.com. And finally, Suka Bush, legendary service. How, you ask? Well, by building authentic relationships with their clients, by sharing their knowledge, being responsive, and actively ensuring and understanding their work. They offer a wide variety of tax and financial services. Find them online at sukabush.com. And rounding out our fantastic sponsors here for 2024, Roar of the Rockies, SK&T, TST Incorporated, Benchmark Medical, Signature Stone, United Tool Rentals, GL Landscaping, Reliable On-Site Services, Hauser Architects, Miller Landscaping, Pepsi, Points West, Quality Irrigation, Davis Inc., Da Vinci Sign, First Advantage Bank, Forever Lawn, GLH Construction sponsoring the 22 of Kyle Maskell, and Ground Engineering. And those are our great local sponsors here, the 2024 Roar of the Rockies. Again, up next, our Formula Lights are going to be back on the water. We're going to do reverse order of finish. Worst goes to first, first goes to worst. We're going to flip that script for our second heat. Hoping to have a chance to chat with the 37 of Mason Rinker as he's down there after a wire-to-wire finish here in qualifying heat number 2 here in the Texas Tri-Hall class. What a run it was. And what a run it was for the 37 of Mason Rinker. He finished dead last in qualifying heat number 1. So that put him out in front, right? Reverse order of points. He got the least in qualifying heat number 1. He moved up into the inside of row 1. He used that to his advantage and ran it wire to wire. I know the one that was probably the most frustrated was his younger brother, the 52 of Tanner Rinker, who started back in 5th position and was really hoping to have enough time to catch his brother there in this second of qualifying heats. Again, we qualify everybody to put together the most comprehensive starting grid for our main events in all classes tomorrow. And we do this by fast lap qualifying and then qualifying based on your speed and then forcing you to work your way through the pack of drivers to really show your skill not only while you're out in front and have clean water, but also moving their way through the pack. Looks like they're just working to make sure they get the guys down there. I'll say my partner in crime, Kay, she's got her running shoes on today. They got her probably going about, I don't know, a quarter mile between where we are here at the judges stand and the start pontoon down at the far south end of the course, right below the VIP area. What a beautiful VIP area Water Valley's put together. A lot of great sponsors and folks hanging down in the VIP area. Brothers Barbecue bringing all the VIP food for the weekend. What a great partner they've come to be here in 2024. And boy, I hope everybody down there in those beautiful shaded tent areas is having a fantastic Saturday. I know we're working on bolstering our on-site PA system to kind of get over to those folks and have a little bit so they can hear yours truly and my partner Kay give you all the live play-by-play action here at the 2024 Roar of the Rockies. All right, and now she's finally made her way down there. We're going to turn things down to Kay Myers with our winner from qualifying heat number 2, the 37 of Mason Rinker. Take it away, Kay.
All right, congratulations. What a heck of a win. You were so excited you forgot to come over here and grab the checkered flag. You went straight into the pits to go talk to your crew.
Well, that water out there is so rough. I was a little rattled still. I was just happy to win and ready to get back to the crew.
Well, I'm not sure if you noticed, but there was boats breaking down left and right trying to keep up with you, and you had Cole right on your tail, along with your brother right on your tail. So everybody is chasing down you in the 37.
I like the sound of that. Let's hope we can keep them behind us this whole weekend. It feels good to be up top.
Well, congratulations on a great win. Mason Rinker of the Rinker Boat World, the number 37.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Kay. Yeah, the 37 of Mason Rinker getting a little bit rattled. I think most of our drivers in Texas Tri-Hull are rattled after they come off the water. We don't call it bumper boats at 65 miles an hour for nothing. Well, maybe not quite 65 here in Colorado, as we are at elevation. You know, looking at about, what, a mile up? I don't know what, we got to be maybe even higher than a mile up here in Windsor, right in the foothills of the Colorado Rockies. So the air is thinner. And you're going to see that performance drop a little bit, but the performance drops for everybody here in the challenging high-altitude racing. Our lone high-altitude race in 2024. So it takes a whole different set of preparation to get ready for this type of water at this elevation than it does, let's say, wherever else we've raced in Texas, Louisiana, where you're very much more at sea level. But sure, it hasn't done a whole lot for the four-strokes. Boy, they are dominating in the Formula One class. We're even starting to see more of the four-stroke domination in the Texas Tri-Hull class. Four-strokes finishing 2nd, 3rd, 6th, and 7th in that second qualifying heat in Texas Tri-Hull. So the four-stroke revolution in tunnel boat racing is here. It is upon us, and we are going to see a move into the future. And as we get the Formula Lights on the water, my partner Kay had a chance to sit down with Liquid Revolution and anti-gravity racing sponsor number 66, the man out of Port Charlotte, Florida, formerly of Denver, Colorado, the number 66 of Randy Parch. Let's see what Randy had to say about racing back in his home state.
I'm here with Randy Parch of the Liquid Revolutions out of Florida. You came here a couple days early, and you got to go to a middle school and show off your boat to some kids.
Yeah, we did, and it was a great time. You know, love getting to interact with the kids and show them boat racing. You know, they were super excited, lots of good questions. It was a great day. It was a lot of fun.
Well, I'm sure you went there because you're from Colorado.
I want to help you. He's like, get your butt down there. There's a boat ready. Just rig it and get it on the water.
Just shows you how much of a family camaraderie we have around with boat racing, that if one driver's down, another driver is saying, hey, I've got a spare boat. Why don't you go take it for a ride? You picked it up at Alton. You had to do some minor adjustments to it, but you did wonderful at Alton.
Man, you know, we fought all weekend trying to set it up, and we started at the back because I didn't know the boat. I didn't know what it was going to do or not do. So I purposely started at the end on every single one, and that boat was real well, and we got it set up for the final, and we did well with it.
Well, you've done well so far this season. You've got another great race this weekend. It's the final race. Do you have anything you want to share with us that you're going to have to be able to get yourself on the podium?
You know, we're struggling with it. I mean, even being from here, altitude was going to play a huge role. I was just shocked of how much of a role it plays in these boats. So we'll see what we can do this weekend.
Well, Randy Parch of Liquid Resolutions, you do so much for the sport. We do thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And that was the 66 of Randy Parch. He won round 3, struggled a little bit in qualifying heat number 1, but hopefully he can right the ship here in qualifying heat number 2. Nobody had an answer for the 35 of Mark Schmierbach. I have a feeling there was a lot of new props, new setups, moving weight around. We got to do something to get off the beach because he made us all look bad in that opening heat because the 35 of Schmierbach started on a pole and came out like a rocket.
Yeah, he was already about 4 rooster tails ahead, 100 feet off the dock, just ruling the whole course the whole way through. Right behind him, Shelby Love in the Clover Construction started to close the gap towards the end of that 6-minute heat, but unfortunately, she was not able to take it. But that's going to be one to keep an eye on, along with her teammate,
right,
Schleikert, in the number 12.
Well, I think this harkens back to a lot of the days in Formula Lights racing where you had, you would realistically have 2 very distinctive, different types of propeller setups for these drivers. You'd have the big props, the big wheel to try to get as much horsepower on a fast lap where they're out on the water by themselves, right? It's not choppy. They don't got to worry about it. Wide lines to get started, really rev up the motor. And then they would switch gears and put on what we call a punch prop, right? A prop that's going to get you in and out of the corners really quick, but you might be giving up a mile an hour or 2 on dead straightaway speed. Well, when you're on a short little, probably a little less than a half-mile 4-pin course, I think what happened was the 35 of Mark Schmierbach realized, if I can get up with a punch prop off the dock quick, I'm going to get so far out in front of them by the time we hit even if they've got the extra horsepower on the top end to drag race me down the straightaway, I'm going to be to the turn before that comes to fruition. And I hope that somebody took note and they're like, hey, let's put our punch props on, because if that happens again, we're going to see the 35 of Schmierbach field from way on the outside in lane 6, because he's going to be so far ahead and he's going to do exactly what he did in heat 1.
Yeah, and as a driver myself, I raced the Hydros too, and I raced the kneel down boat. You're talking about the different props. I will literally have a huge suitcase of props, and one prop goes for this race, one prop goes for this race because of the different course sizes. And most drivers, I would have to say pretty much every driver that there is probably got Dave DeWald on speed dial.
For sure.
That guy, you buy a prop from him, and if it doesn't work, you call me, say, hey, I lost some of my top end speed. What do you think I should do? Or can I try something else, a different? Dave DeWald has so much knowledge in every aspect of racing of all the different classes.
Right. Hey, by the way, Dave, if you're listening, you can make checks payable to Kay Myers and Thomas Yarbrough for promoting your business. You love the unsolicited advertising. You didn't even have to ask for it. But right, I
need a new C-Stock prop, by the way.
I think if you look at globally in powerboat racing, in tunnel boat racing, right, Dave DeWald is the standard. Now, we're starting to see some other people, but, a lot of guys work with the propellers, and I think that's what we're seeing as the wave of the future, right? I think tunnel boat racing is going to move like we saw in stock car racing, right? It's all computer integrated. Everybody understands telemetry, data, analytics, right? The age of data and analytics is here.
Yes.
And, outside of the class right now, that we're probably eventually going to see them move to the 4-stroke 60-horse outboard that's run in Europe because of their environmental restrictions. Some of these older OMCs were basically the government's told them, no.
Right.
Nobody can run them. Not even you racers. And so they moved over to the Mercury 4-stroke Race 60 motor a while back. We'll probably see that eventually get adopted here as the old 2-cylinder, 2-stroke OMCs start to kind of die off, right? Because you only have so many parts. Now, thankfully, title sponsor Seaway Marine.
Oh yes,
they're going to keep it. They're going to keep it running for a lot longer up in your neck of the woods in the Pacific
I've
Northwest.
been there numerous times.
The great Jake Emoto and Seaway Marine, your one-stop boat motor shop. Truly, if you are looking for any boat motor part, albeit an 80-year-old motor or a motor from 3 years ago, Greg Jacobson and the knowledge that they have at Seaway Marine is second to none, and they're going to find you exactly what you need. But I think we're seeing that transition like Supercross saw maybe 10, 15 years ago, where there was that migration from the light two-stroke motor to this move to, albeit a larger or heavier motor, but with a lot more raw power.
Yeah, every driver's looking for just that little bit more power, that extra mile per hour. And, you know, as we evolve with boat racing, we are getting these drivers faster and faster. You and I both know that Formula Light 45 SST a few years ago was only doing about maybe 55. And now they just every year seem to be stepping up the pace, stepping up the speeds.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think if you see, you know, a move to carbon fiber boats and the weight, right? And that's the biggest thing, the weight factor. And that's why somebody's like, why did boat racing take so long to move to a four-stroke? Well, one, none of the four-stroke manufacturers, Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, cared about weight, because they were putting these things on the back of 26, 28, 30-foot boats that weigh, you know, 4, 5, 6, 8x of the motor. So who cares? Well, weight is very big in tunnel boat racing. Now you've got the ability to compensate for that extra weight of a four-stroke motor, because, I mean, these guys are at times having to add 100 to 150 pounds because the boats have become so light. The carbon fiber is so strong, yet so lightweight. If you took I can pick up one end of a tunnel boat with no motor on it. You know, I could probably, you know, some of the stuff that Hoffman composites and composite craft are coming out right now, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, one person could lift one of these boats out. They only are going to weigh probably 600-700 pounds completely undressed, bare hull. Whereas 10 years ago, I mean, you were lucky if you could get a boat under 900 pounds. Now we're seeing such a move to such lightweight and strong and safe material. It's now allowed the four-stroke to be introduced into a discipline where weight is so important.
And they were building them back there in wood, like you said, the new craft, the new riding. They're faster, but they're more durable. I mean, we've seen it just a couple times today where boats were, Travis got a little bit close to Trayden on turn 2, might have had a little bit of an impact there. We already saw Trayden's boat. He's had a few impacts this year.
A few, to say the least, for sure.
But that's the thing, is they're easy fixable repairs. So you just go get some resin, they put it together, and they're back out on the course the next day.
Right. I mean, we even saw this last night in the pits. The 93 of RJ West looks like he had some of that damage rear its ugly head from Shreveport, Louisiana, and he knew, right, with water, if you have a little hole and you put it against immense water pressure, that little hole will become a very large hole very quickly. He recognized that, but again, right, instead of having to cut out a whole panel, he just ground out the carbon and then was able to fill that in, and clearly he's doing just fine because he went off from the pole position to a checkered flag in heat number 1. But we're waiting for Chief Referee Doug Ray. He's making sure everybody's lined up here. Again, reverse order of points. So let's talk about how that shapes things here in the second qualifying heat in Formula Lights, because on the pole, the man who's in year 2 out of San Antonio, Texas, the number 78 of Marshall Gildermaster, now finds himself on the pole. Hopefully he did some things to increase the speed, because he was way off the pace in heat 1.
He was, but, you know, still learning the boat, still, you know, understanding the whole trim.
All right, here we go. Coming up on the 1-minute gun for qualifying heat number 2 and here in Formula Lights. 1-minute drivers, 1 minute. And sitting on pole. Did he take that inside line and run it wire to wire in that all silver mole guard composite hull, the 78 of Marshall Gildermaster? 50 seconds, 50 seconds. The man we just interviewed, the 66 of Randy Parch, can he come back to Colorado? Drivers as he sits second off the dock. Third off the start pontoon, that's the 2 of Travis Thompson. He was in a battle with the 12 of Trident Schleicher, who's fourth. 30 seconds, drivers, 30 seconds. And then it's the 24 of Shelby Love and the 35 of Mark Schmierbach. Who's going to grab qualifying heat number 2 in this reverse order of points? 20 seconds, drivers, you're under starters orders. The flag is up. He drops the flag. That was a quick flag right there. Let's see what happens. It looks like a much better jump by the entire fleet. And a great jump there by the 66 of Randy Parch. But boy, the 35 of Schmierbach, he's got an extra gear K that none of the rest of them seem to have.
Yeah, and you know, he also had that disadvantage where he had to go to the outside course marker. They have what's called a commitment buoy right off of the beach. And look at the, it's going to be both bashing side by side, just trying to chase down the 35 of Schmierbach.
Yeah, the 66 of Randy Parch makes it through. The 2 of Thompson and the 12 of Schleicher got together there. And there's the 24 of Shelby Love going wide to the outside as she's all the way up into third position. position. Looks like she's going to do battle with the two of Travis Thompson. But again, Schmierbach is just got it dialed in. He's the only driver in the field that raced here back in 2019, so he really understands how to set things up here at high altitude. But look at the battle for second, third, and fourth. On the inside, it's the two of Travis Thompson. Sandwiched in the middle there, out in front, sitting in second now is the 66 of Randy Parch. And then wide to the outside, that all-white composite Hoffman with Clover Construction on the side. The 24 of Shelby Love is looking to drag race him down the outside as the two of Thompson has just basically had to give up down there and got the door shut on him by the 66.
Out of the corner, but the top end speed belongs to the 66 of Randy. He's also got that inside lane advantage. Shelby was able to get herself around Thompson in the number 2. Now she's trying to work her way around Randy Parch to take that second place spot.
And look at here, the two of Travis Thompson sticks his nose back in there. He's like, hey, listen, guys, just because you squeeze me out once doesn't mean you're going to be able, I'm just going to go away. I like that he kind of gathered himself, changed the game plan, and he's right back in there with his nose in it as they go, as all three boats battle for second position, as the two of the 35 of Schmierbach just kind of walks away with it here in qualifying heat number 2.
Three ride as they go into turn number 2. On the inside, Travis is able to take that second place. On the outside is going to be Shelby Love in the 24 Clover Construction, and starting to drop back to fourth is the 66 of Randy Parch of Liquid Revolutions.
Yeah, Randy Parch here in his second season, he built that boat. He bought the molds from 93 of RJ West. And he started to do a lot of things. He had to completely rebuild that boat after some damage in Shreveport, Louisiana. You do remember that. But, boy, it looks like the two of Thompson, they were able to get by him both, and he looks like he is going to run with the 24 of Shelby Love and give her everything he's got.
Great run as they come across the start-finish line. Shelby Love is starting to nose up in front of Travis, but Travis is going to hold on to that inside lane. Now, here's key factor. Will Shelby give him that lane as they make their way down into turn 2? She gets far enough ahead, she can slam the door right on to number 2 of Travis.
I think her crew chief said, hey, wait till the other end of the course. He's a little close. You try to shut the door, you guys might get together. But now I think right here is where you're going to see her shut that door on him. Yep, that's exactly what happens there. The 24 of Shelby Love moving up into second position, trying to go back-to-back second, where her teammate, the points leader of Trayden Schleicher, he finds himself back in fourth position. He is slowly relinquishing that points lead to the 24 of Shelby Love. Could we have the first female series winner in the history of the United States in any tunnel boat racing series?
I know, and if it's going to happen, it's going to happen with the Clover Construction team. They work super hard throughout the year. Shelby's still brand new to this boat, but she's getting extremely comfortable, and it's showing right now with a great run. She's able to get around Travis. She's starting to work her way up to try and catch up to the leader, the number 35 of Mark Schmierbach.
I think, why, and you see our leader there, overhead shot, great drone footage by our partners at Live Race Media. Goes wide on a turn number 4. He's got that thing in cruise control. They are going to have a long night in front of them. Everybody else in this class, and I suspect 35 of Schmierbach will put that thing on the trailer tonight, just put a tarp, put the cover over the boat, and go have an enjoyable rest of the evening, because there's not a single thing he needs to do. He is doing it right now, looking to eye up the 12. He already got by the 78 at Gildermaster. He's already looking to get by the 12 of Trayden Schleicher, and it looks like the abuse that the 12 of Schleicher has put on that Formula Light boat is starting to show. The age of that hull, it just can't seem to hold up at top speeds anymore, when earlier this year, nobody could catch him.
Exactly. He was way out in front. Right now, we're going to keep an eye on this right now. Look at Shelby Love as she comes across the start-finish line. Unfortunately, had to go to the outside of back traffic. That widened the gap once again between her and the 35 of Schmierbach. That's exactly what Schmierbach wanted to see, because as the last couple laps was starting to close the gap, then she had to get around back traffic from the outside, widen that gap. But now she's gone around Schmierbach. Shelby Love's coming after you.
Yeah, and I think, she's going to have one more qualifying heat to figure out that start, because I think if she can beat him to the first turn, it's a short course. She can drive him all over the place. He's just got so much top speed off the dock that nobody can catch him. You'll see him there coming out of 4. Every time you watch the 35 of Schmierbach go through a turn, it seems like, yep, that's exactly where it should be. Look at this side-by-side here. We got the 35 of Schmierbach and the...
Look at 4 seconds difference, 3 seconds.
Half a straightaway now. Here's the only problem for her. We see Chief Referee Doug Ray pulls the white flag out of its holster as our leader of the 35 of Schmierbach goes down on a turn number 4. White flag comes out. Go fast, turn left. Just 4 more time for the old pro from Greenfield, Wisconsin. This is why she's got to figure out that start, because she will have a little bit more time. Look at the trim problems on the back of the 12 of Traden Schleicher. That right there is why he is so slow. I don't know if he's stuck in the out position, right? He's got some trim ram issues. That figured. Ladies and gentlemen, coming out of turn number 4, your winner here in qualifying heat number 2, looking to clean sweep the weekend. He's taken to number 35, Mark Schmierbach.
Followed by the number 24, all the way out of Santa Rosa, California. Clover Construction brings you Miss Shelby Love.
And rounding out the top 3, once she got by him, he just couldn't hang with her, but a solid podium finish and some great points for the number 2 of Travis Thompson.
Making his way all the way out of Florida, but born and raised here right in Colorado, the number 66, Liquid Revolutions, Randy Partridge.
And then the 12 of Traden Schleicher in 5th, and then the 78 of Marshall Gildermaster. Traden Schleicher better watch out, or he's just going to hand this victory to his teammate. He had a 41-point lead coming in. Well, now she's got 2 seconds. He's got a 3rd and a 5th. That's not what you need if you are sitting in the catbird seat with the bullseye on your back and your teammates letting you know, hey, I'm going to come get you. We had a great opportunity to chat with them earlier, and I think we're going to get some cool footage with them tomorrow afternoon for our main show on Sunday. But there's no team rules, right? And so I don't know what's going on. You can see the trim. Look at the 12 of Schleicher. He's really struggling with the trim, and that's going to kill him. He's going to have to get that figured out here. But the 35 of Schmierbach's going to grab his checkered flag. He's probably going to be bored with this by the end of the day because all he does is just win here on Saturday in Formula Lights Racing. He went wire to wire from the pole in Heat 1. He went wire to wire from last off the start pontoon in qualifying Heat number 2. And then there's the 24 of Shelby Love. Looks like she gave it just enough gas and ran out after she crossed the start-finish line. But ladies and gentlemen, there's our winner. Taking the first 2 qualifying heats and clean sweep on Saturday. The 35 of Mark Schmierbach in that pizza. And that's a Pugh design hull. That is a legacy Pugh design hull. Gary Pugh has gotten out of the boat building business. He built boats for the better part of 35 years, maybe even more than that. Gary, if you're watching, you build a great race boat, man. We'd love to see you build some more, maybe get into the composite world, but I know you're an old school wood guy for the most part, boy, are these some fast machines, the Pugh Design racing hulls, especially when piloted by the 35 of Mark Schmierbach. The final Pugh ever built right there with the 35 of Mark Schmierbach behind the wheel. Got the checkered flag on the trailer. He's going to put the cover over the boat. He's going to put the boat in the trailer, shut the door, and have a very relaxing evening. This is the benefit of being the top dog. And clearly this weekend, everybody came to fight, but nobody, I think, was ready for the fight that the 35 of Mark Schmierbach was, and he is definitely the class of the field here in Formula Lights. Up next, though, we've got the second qualifying heat in the Formula One class. Here as we do reverse order of start. Again, worst to first, first to worst here in the Texas Tri-Hull class. But right now, I want to make sure that we had a raffle winner earlier this week, and we'll get back with that raffle winner, but I'm going to need the raffle winner to make their way down to the Formula One Powerboat Championship merch tent to collect your winner. I'm going to apologize. I'm going to get the winner of that raffle from earlier this week, and we're going to have you make your way down to the Formula One Powerboat Championship merch tent. Speaking of the Formula One Powerboat Championship merch tent, I hope you guys were able to see it there by the VIP area. We've got shirts, hats, koozies, all sorts of swag that you can bring your Sharpie. You can get that signed by your favorite driver down there at the south end of the course in the race pits. But fantastic merch from not only the Roar of the Rockies, but also the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series. You can find us online on Facebook at F1 Powerboat Racing, at YouTube, Instagram, TikTok at F1 Powerboat Championship. Make sure you smash that like button, share it out, let everybody know what a fantastic weekend of racing you're seeing here in the beautiful Water Valley communities. It's Pelican Lakes Resort and Golf Club here in Windsor, Colorado. Just the east side of the Colorado Rockies in the Front Range, just north of Denver. What a fantastic weekend. I mean, can you ask for better weather? I mean, we're talking like 82, light breeze, right? Of course, we're in Colorado, so there's not an ounce of humidity. What a fantastic weekend. And boy, they got a big day here in the Front Range, Northern Front Range, Colorado State in Fort Collins tonight. There's a buzz in the community. You put the race all day, you watch football at night, you come back, you watch racing all day on Sunday. What an amazing weekend, and the people have really come out here in the Water Valley communities. Thousands and thousands of people were here before racing even started to get their great seat and make sure they had the best views for the jam-packed day of racing we've had so far here. That has seen the 93 of RJ West go from wire to wire. The 26 of Michael Schubert in Texas Tri-Hull go wire to wire. The 37 of Mason Rinker go wire to wire. Now, you hear that and you might think, well, Tom, so all you got to do is basically be on the pole and you're going to win. Well, I will tell you, in boat racing, that is absolutely the best place to be. But I think anybody in all of racing would say, of course I want to start on the pole. The tricky part is once you get into the main events, the heat races are a little shorter, so they're a little tougher to utilize back markers to your advantage. You get into the finals tomorrow afternoon, you are going to see the biggest game of cat and mouse at 100+ miles an hour in Formula One that you've ever seen. And it's going to be fantastic. But for now, I'm going to turn things down to Kay as she's chatting again with the 35 of Mark Schmierbach.
You just said it perfectly, Thomas. I mean, you are no stranger to victory lane, Mark Schmierbach. But this one seems to put a little bit of more oomph into your step because it got you a little closer in high points with the kids, you call them.
Well, the kids, yeah. Shelby still controls a lot because she has 2 seconds, so she's keeps gaining points.
Well, she was gaining a little ground on you towards the end of that race. What was going on?
Well, I think I got bad news for the pit crew, but last 2 laps I got a hell of a shake in the motor. So I don't know if I threw a half a blade or what.
All right, well, we're going to let you get back into the boat, get it into the pits because we got more racing to go. You got to get this thing figured out because Shelby Love, she's nipping on your heels.
Oh, gosh, dang, why do the kids leave me alone?
Always fun to interview. Congratulations, another one.
Thanks.
Next thing we're going to hear him say is, "Get off my lawn," as the 35 of Mark Schmierbach, the elder statesman of the Formula Lights class, looking to try to hold all the kids at bay and maintain the top spot on the podium here in the Formula Lights class in the final race of 2024. It's Roar of the Rockies here in Windsor, Colorado. Beautiful Pelican Lakes Resort and Golf Club within the Water Valley communities. What a fantastic community is. I mean, the first time I came to Windsor, Colorado, 13 years old. And as I sit here next to my brother who resides now in Denver, I hearken back to that original race when this that we see all around us right now here locally, this beautiful lake, all these beautiful homes, they didn't exist. This was still ranch country. And the Lynn family and Water Valley have transcended or transitioned this into an unbelievable community. But we had the chance to play the Pelican Lakes Golf and Resort, the golf club there as a part of the resort, a fantastic golf club. I wonder what it looks like now, growing in 20 years of grooming on that golf course. But the community itself, I mean, I remember going one end of Windsor to the other, and it took me like 5 minutes. Now it takes like a half hour. Between Loveland, Windsor, and Fort Collins, the Northern Front Range has really grown to be a fantastic group of communities that get you outside of the Denver metro. And those great sponsors here in 2024, Roar of the Rockies, are the reason why we're here and back in this beautiful community. First and foremost, again, like I said, Water Valley and the Water Valley communities, they are the reason that we're here. This beautiful community and this race put on by our title sponsors at Water Valley. We've got Exodus Moving and Storage for nearly 3 decades. This family-owned and operated moving and storage company in the heart of Colorado has been helping individuals, families, and businesses relocate with ease on the move. Sponsor here for the weekend, Exodus Moving and Storage. Island Lake Marine. Island Lake Marine, Colorado's only on-the-water boat dealership. Find your next adventure and book your next test drive at islandlakemarine.com. ProLift Crane and Riggings. 303 ProLift is a family-owned and operated company, and they pride themselves on excellent customer service at every level. Reach out to any of them regarding any project needs. Find them at 303ProLiftCrane.com. That's ProLift Crane and Rigging. Nobleman Electric. Nobleman Electric Contracting has been a cornerstone of the community involved in both leadership and development. They're proud to lead the way towards a more efficient future with innovative ideas, game-changing technology, and transparency. Suka Bush, legendary service. How, you ask? By building authentic relationships with their clients and sharing knowledge, being responsive and understanding the work they need to do for their clients. From tax to other financial services, business and individual alike, including audit and accounting services, valuation consulting, cost segregation studies, and small business planning. Find them at sukabush.com. PCL Construction. PCL Construction, a collaborative, driven, and innovative organization focused on finding the best way forward and elevating your vision of success. And that does it here for our main sponsors, but some of the great auxiliary sponsors of the Roar of the Rockies here in 2024. Hess Land, Banner Medical, Bemis Construction, Brothers Barbecue, CCIG, Da Vinci Sign, First Advantage Bank, Forever Lawn, GLH Construction, Ground Engineering, Hauser Architects, Miller Landscaping, Points West, Quality Irrigation, SK&T Incorporated, TST Incorporated, United Rentals and Reliable On-Site Services, GL Landscaping, Benchmark Medical, and Signature Stone. Well, Kay, I love the curmudgeon-y aspect that we're seeing in Mark, right? I think he's not used to winning. He's struggled probably more this year than he ever has in the past. And you can see it start to come out now because now he really wants it because he hasn't had a win all year. He really wants to get back on the top spot of the podium. And, boy, Shelby Love's going to give him everything he's got, especially if he's got to go to a backup motor because that motor package was first of its class, right? I mean,
data probably tonight, sitting inside of that trailer saying, okay, what do we need to make changes for Sunday to be able to try and get ahead of the 35? Travis Thompson, another one, right there in the running with these two other high fast boats. Travis had a great run on that last heat. Had to, try and hold off Shelby long as long as he could. But Travis Thompson, the number 2, one of the faster ones out there in our Formula Lights. Now we're going to be bringing out the big boys here shortly, and you're going to notice that when you look out onto the course, these drivers are all kind of sitting out there getting ready to get lined up. One that you want to keep an eye on for right here in our cameras, that number 22, Kyle Maskell. I mean, that kid, I said a couple races ago when I was announcing for him, I said, gosh, where'd he come from? Oh, that's right, Vancouver, BC.
Yeah, he finished 6th in qualifying heat number 1. He fast lap qualified 4th. He was like maybe half a second off the pace of our fast lap qualifier, which was the 93 of RJ West. But you can still tell he hadn't been around long enough, right? I think that's the one thing that you even talk to professionals like Andrew Tate, who've raced in every discipline of powerboat racing, 4th-generation driver. He doesn't come off the start dock nearly as well as these guys because it's one of the disciplines, one of a few, that he doesn't get anywhere else, right? All other forms of powerboat racing do moving starts because they don't have the ability to get up to power that quickly. They don't have the responsiveness of a Formula One boat, so they have to start already on the move. And that, I think, is, if you were to say what's one skill that a Formula One powerboat driver has almost over any other, outside of maybe drag racers, right? They're probably on the same level, is that quick trigger when the drop of the flag. I mean, these guys aren't looking for the flag to move. They're looking for like an elbow, any twitch, and as soon as that flag starts to think about moving, they're on the button, firing the motor, and on the gas and gone.
Well, and you just mentioned that, just like an elbow movement. At Springfield, Ohio, about 3 weeks ago, I was asked to do the flag, and because there was a couple people that were like, I don't want that responsibility. I don't want that responsibility. And Chief Referee Doug Ray came up to me and he says, you have to make sure that your hand, your leg, anything does not move at all, because that is what these drivers are sitting on this starting dock looking for. And one little trigger, one little twitch that I could make was just like a hand movement, or even the flag kind of shimmering just a little bit with the wind. These drivers are going to take off, and then that is going to make it so that one driver's like, well, I didn't think that was a drop. I thought that was just something of the flag moving from the wind. We're going to get ready to head out, and on our camera right now, Mr. RJ West driving the 93 Chuck Skelton Racing. You're going to notice A little bit different boat or different setup right now. On the last heat, lost his cowling, went to the backup cowling, threw some little duct tape on there. I see, actually, if you look up close right there, a little extra duct tape on that boat.
Yeah, and he's going to be real upset, right? That cowling weighs just a couple of pounds. But I was just informed that the 93 of RJ West, and right, this is a testament to how light these hulls are nowadays. Just a few pounds underweight, disqualified from qualifying heat number 1. So, I mean, that's the problem, right? When we have a minimum weight, right? Like it's 12, is it 1250 or 1205?
I think it depends on if it's an APX or a 2.5.
So I didn't know if they have different weights, right? But they do. And he obviously is held to the APX or the 4-stroke standard for weight. And losing that cowling, maybe, I mean, again, he wants to ruin weekends, so he's living on the ragged edge because he wants to show everybody. But the problem with living on that ragged edge is it can come back to bite you in the butt. We've seen it in the mid-1990s. Michael Siebold won in St. Louis, Missouri, took 2 extra laps, half-pound underweight, lost the biggest race of his career to that point because of a half a pound and 2 extra parade laps. Hey, and I don't fault the guy, right? It was his hometown. He won in front of 50,000 people. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
But, right? Hey, if I guess I don't know how to. You live on the edge, right? You gotta take the what happens with those risks that you take. RJ probably knew going in, man, I'm gonna be right on it, and they're all trying to be right on it. But most guys will probably give themselves a 10-pound buffer, right? Just in case they go through more fuel.
Or a restart.
Right, there's a bunch of restarts. You have to take those things into consideration. And most people have learned, I don't want to live that close because exactly what happens is you go underweight, which the 93 of RJ West did. Here's the kicker. If you are disqualified, series rules state that just because you now are technically the last finisher of the prior heat, you do not get to move to the front of the start pontoon. So not only did he get DQ'd 0 points, he now has to start last here in qualifying heat number 2. And that is because we cannot reward, right, breaking the rules. Yeah. So it's a very stringent penalty, and he is going to be running angry the rest of this afternoon. But at the end of the day, he doesn't really care about points coming in here because he missed out on so much of the year. The series championship wasn't going to be in his purview anyway.
Right.
But as long as he can get himself in a position where he has a chance to fight for the final, that's what he cares about. So I think instead of this maybe derailing the 93, which I think it would have if he was in the points championship, this is where drivers sometimes just back up and go home. But he wasn't there to begin with, right? So I think this is just going to add fuel to the fire of the 93 of RJ West and drive him even harder. So I think we're in for a treat here in heat number 2.
Well, I know that he came into this race just basically wanting to prove a point. And, and having Dustin Terry here of the 03, one of our other faster top qualifiers, he wanted to go nose to nose and deck to deck with him to see how it was going to work out. We've talked about how the APX motors are out there and how they're making them move. They were the top 4 out there. And RJ has worked so hard with this APX motor to get it to the top of the podium, not only just standing there on the top of the podium, but standing, 3 to 4 seconds ahead of the rest of them. They keep chasing after him, and every time that they get a little closer, he goes a little bit farther forward. And it's good to see that, he had that backup cowling because, you always got to have backup spare parts. And I've seen it before in many different styles of racing. Like, let's just say he didn't have a backup cowling. The next heat, you're going to see him out there with, a Jensen bright green cowling on the back. The great thing about boat racing in our family and in our sport of boat racing is that these drivers work together to help each other out. And, if you break something, there's going to be like 5 or 6 other teams over there helping to work on it.
Absolutely, and I think APBA President Chris Fairchild said it best earlier this season. I want to beat the drivers on the water. I don't want to win on a technicality. I don't want to win because the guy didn't have a cowling, so his number's not on his boat, so he can't run. That's stupid, right? I mean, it is what it is, but none of these guys want to beat people on any other scale than I licked you on the water, right? We went toe-to-toe, and I bested you, and I came out on top. And that's what they're all shooting for. So we love what a family, what a community that is. And in just a few minutes here, we're going to get them lined up for our final heat here in Formula One class on Saturday qualifying here at the 2024 Roar of the Rockies final round of the 2024 Formula One Powerboat Championship Series.
Powerboats are sleek, glamorous, lightweight, and extremely maneuverable, with a power-to-weight ratio among the highest in all motorsports. Their performance speaks for itself, accelerating from 0 to 100 miles an hour in under 5 seconds, keeping it on par with a Formula One car. Top speeds in excess of 120 miles an hour while making 180-degree corners at 100 miles an hour, pulling 7 Gs in the process, making them the hardest-turning race vehicle in the world. Formula One Powerboat competition begins with a 20-boat field lined up at the start pontoon, with their engines silent, awaiting the modified Le Mans start. At the drop of a flag, the world-class drivers ignite these rockets to life, and their engines roar. Rooster tails shoot thousands of gallons of water as they simultaneously accelerate towards the first turn. This spectator-friendly racing on tight courses made up of right and left-hand hairpin turns with various straightaways provide deck-to-deck racing action front and center for the fans in the viewing area. No 2 laps are the same due to the ever-changing wind and water conditions, making an F1 boat one of the most challenging racing machines to conquer on the planet. The Formula One Powerboat Championship is an 8-race series contested across North America from May to October. Established in 2017, the series features weekend-long community events highlighted by the Formula One boats capable of speeds in excess of 120 miles an hour. Along with support classes of Tri-Hull and Formula Lights, the family-friendly, up-close and personal sponson-banging competition creates thrills rarely experienced by motorsport racing fans. U.S. powerboat racing heritage began in 1903, formation of the national governing body, the American Powerboat Association, that still governs today. Formula One racing for the last 6 decades has been the pinnacle classification in powerboat racing, recognized as one of the world's most spectacular racing vehicles. The F1 boat's lightning-quick acceleration combined with its razor-sharp turns, creating the unique non-stop action on the water. The races are more than a series of one-day events. They have evolved into marquee, multi-interest, weekend-long community festivals. Formula One Powerboat Championship Series produces some of the largest entertainment events in the major markets they visit, attracting tourism dollars to the local economy, while entertaining huge global audience. Large on-site event attendance and coupled with mass media exposure through various channels regionally, nationally, and internationally, our live streaming programs give each event global reach on various social and traditional channels, reaching millions of fans.
All right, welcome back, race fans, wherever you are across the world. Thanks for joining us here for Saturday qualifying at the 2024 Roar of the Rockies, the final round of the 2024 Formula One Powerboat Championship Series. Boy, we had a doozy of heat number 1. Was just informed the leader and winner from heat number 1 disqualified for being underweight. And because he was disqualified and not penalized, right? There's the difference. If you're penalized versus disqualified, if he was penalized a lap and that made him end up in last, he would go to first. Because just like we've done in our other heats, right, it's reverse order of points gained so far. So we're going to see the 93 of RJ West, the 17 of Dylan Anderson. They're going to be way back at the end of the dock, minus the 91 of Peter Wilson, our rookie.
Hey.
And now there's a lot of drivers that are really good and really fast. They're going to start ahead of them, right? And that's what's going to make this interesting. But because he got disqualified, he doesn't get to move up to first. He has to stay in that last position on the dock. Series rules state that if you get disqualified versus penalized, you aren't allowed to use the reverse order of finish to your advantage.
Well, it should be interesting to see him come off the dock. I mean, he's going to be coming all the way from the outside, going on the outside of the commitment buoy, because we split the field. When they leave the dock, you're going to see, we'll probably have the drone footage, which would be.
There's the, oh, we just picked it up there. There is the gate buoy, right? That buoy, so six go in, everybody else goes outside. What that does is it helps the drivers, give them like a visual optic or almost like a lane marker, right? So they can maintain their lane. Maintaining your lane across the whole array of drivers is much more difficult, especially on this narrow, confined body of water, than, hey, you know what? I just got to stay to the left of that white buoy and so you can keep everybody, to your right. It makes it a lot easier to split it up with those commitment buoys. We've tried it with all at once, and boy, carnage ensues, doesn't it?
Yeah.
As we've seen a lot. Here's the green flag. We got hot laps going on here for the second qualifying heat here, and our second to last heat of the day here at Saturday qualifying at the Roar of the Rockies. This is going to be probably the most entertaining heat we've seen so far.
Exactly, because you just talked about it. Jumbling these boats all the way around on that starting dock puts some of the faster drivers in particular positions, puts some of our other drivers who still don't have quite as much seat time up on the top position. So that means our faster drivers are going to have to work even harder to get around some of the other drivers out here on the course. We've got a lot of I would have to say, Thomas, this is probably our fastest crew out here, our fastest set of drivers here in the United States. Coming across the start-finish line right now is the number 8 of Jeremiah Mayo, Snap-on Tools, along with the 52 of Rinker Boat World. Both have seen the top podium finishes many times, but right now, all eyes are on that Anderson Marina, the number 17, with a wonderful start. It took a half a lap or a half of a race for RJ West to get around him. Now, we're going to have to see if maybe they made some adjustments between those two heats to try and keep up with Mr. RJ West.
Well, again, these boats are so light, right? And that four-stroke's got a little extra weight, but as we saw, who would have thought 10 years ago that a four-stroke motor on the back of a boat was underweight?
Yeah.
I guarantee you could bet people's entire race budgets for the year, and they would have taken that bet because it would have never happened. In the days of the transition away from the traditional, two-stroke, I can pick up a two-stroke motor by myself.
Yeah, I might have some money on a particular four-stroke, but you talked about the weight distribution, and you talked about how in different courses that they change the weight. Well, you also have to put into factor wind. We're lucky enough here. This is such a protected lake.
Absolutely.
That these drivers don't have to put that extra little add in, because you see some of these drivers when they trim it out when they're coming out of a corner, they trim it out just a little bit too far sometimes.
Yeah, especially that composite craft, right? That composite craft hull functions the way its builder built it, right?
Yes.
Its builder is the 93 of RJ West. He likes to get the nose up, right? So you'll see the attitude of that. That thing gets up, whereas like the Hoffman really stays nice and low and flat. Where that can be problematic is if you get real calm weather, right? We got a little bit of breeze, but if you have a real flat attitude boat and no wind, it'll just suck that boat to the water. And when that boat gets pinned to the water, it isn't able to break loose and really ride on top of the water, whereas, as you can see here, this is a 99 of Travis Yates in that chartreuse in black. That's a composite craft as well. And Travis will tell you, even with that heavy four-stroke, you trim that thing out, you hit the gas, the nose of that boat's going to come out of the water, and you're going to be looking at the sky. And it takes a little bit of getting used to if you talk to some of the drivers that have driven a composite craft, because you got to stay in it and the nose will come down, right? A lot of the guys, when they first get in a composite craft, they trim that motor out and punch it, and it goes nose up, and they back off completely and let it flop because they're worried it's going to go over, because the attitudes of a lot of boats in the past have taken a different path, right? Flatter, nose down, your Seabolds, your Dax. But you look at boats like the composite craft, the Baba as well, which we see the 22 of Kyle Maskell running, very flighty. But that can also be very advantageous here in a place where the air is so much less, there's so much less density in the air that you don't have to worry about that wind pushing you over, because it's just, the air just isn't as forceful up here.
Yeah, exactly. And they are floating on basically a little pillow of water, of air, as they're going in and out of the corners and down the backstretch. And that is what these drivers are dealing with. And as I speak up, the wind now just picked up. And maybe I spoke too soon about the wind here, Thomas.
Well, I think this is some of the stuff that happens on the front range of the Colorado Rockies. You get, little wind pockets that'll flow down over the peak, coming west to east, and they'll drop down, and they just shoot right down the front range. And as you can tell, all that wind came from our backs, from the Rocky Mountains to our west. And it looks like we lost one of our sponsor buoys. They're kind of floating out. And we're
Seaway's out there. He wants to make sure he gets his name out there one more time.
Yeah, we're getting the last few boats lined up, but our rescue crew, not only are they going to cost him some valuable points that could probably put him on top of the point standing coming in, but even saying that, right, let's say those hypotheticals were true, and he came in first, second in points. He finished 8th out of 13.
That's not like Chris Rinker at all.
No, I mean, for a guy who's 4th in the point standing, you'd figure he's, 4th, 5th, 6th type of guy.
Yeah.
But he's finished 8th. Look at the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo. He finished 9th. He's in 2nd. Clearly, drive himself right out of the top 3 spots with 8th and 9th place finishes.
Well, and a lot of those point standings that you're talking about with everybody jumbling, drivers that we were expecting to see higher up on the point standing, mostly all had to do with that Louisiana race that you went to, when we not only had just logs going down the river, literally full-size trees were going down the river, and quite a few boats actually had a little boat damage and weren't able to finish on that race. That's why we love being here for the Roar of the Rockies in Windsor, Colorado, a very protected lake. I'm not going to say the wind factor again because that was bad karma, but it's a protected lake. Like, we're not dealing with something coming down the river. We're not dealing with trees and stuff. We're just like ideal conditions, and this is why all of our drivers have been so excited to be here for this weekend, and they're excited that this was like the season finale race because they knew it was going to be perfect weather and perfect water.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, right? I mean, it's weird to me. I've got some friends in town. One of my best friends from growing up, Eric Winter, lives in Houston, Texas. They went up to Estes Park yesterday after Labor Day week.
Starting dock, I mean, side by side. So it's going to be our rookie driver, Peter Wilson, RJ West, then it's going to be Dylan, and right next to Dylan is going to be Dustin Terry.
It would have been under 20 points if it weren't for that amazing move at the end of qualifying heat number 1, where the 03 of Dustin Terry got by the 13 of Grant Schubert and the 24 of Spencer Love and slingshotted his way into 3rd. That kept that thing back. It kept it in the 20 points range. So we got to keep an eye on that. It was at 26 points. Now it was 22. And the 52 of Chris Rinker also made some ground on the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo because they were so close together, and he finished a little bit ahead of Jeremiah. This heat is going to be huge for the season point standings here, as these 4 drivers, a couple of them did what they were supposed to, but a couple of them didn't.
Well, and I don't know, I can hear you down there through the PA system, so I'm sure that those drivers just went and calculated all those numbers inside the cockpit, and you just basically like ramped every one of those drivers up. I mean, yeah, getting them all excited, getting them, and I bet you right now, I could see it probably through that little tiny cockpit right there. Dustin Terry is sitting over there eyeballing right next to him of Dylan Anderson, saying, hey, we're getting close, and I'm on your inside. Here we go, boy.
I mean, this is the one where he knows, he's like, listen, I just got to keep the blue one behind me. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, 1-minute drivers, 1 minute here in qualifying heat number 2. On the pole, part of Clover Construction, the number 12. 3 of Dustin Terry.
We did a 2-flag start. That must have been a last-minute decision. That's why you're going to see the last couple of boats coming out. They had to wait for the 2nd flag to drop.
And I think it's because the lake pinches in so far, they don't have that much room. But the 9 of Johnny Fleming and the 22 of Kyle Maskell are looking to come out 1 and 2 here. 3 of Dustin Terry. He's already moved up to 3rd, ladies and gentlemen.
Dustin Terry goes way wide every single time, and Chris Rinker takes advantage of it and holding that inside lane. Maskell coming up quick, right on the outside.
As Maskell goes wide to the outside as they go deck to deck down into turn number 3. Off turn number 3 now. Who's going to come out of turn number 4 out in front? Maskell's got to leave him the inside lane as they go deck to deck side by side. Now can he drag race him down the front stretch? 105, 110, 115 plus miles an hour. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a new leader. The young man out of Chilliwack, British Columbia. Now he's got the huge task of holding off the 03 of Dustin Terry. Whatever he did after heat number 1, he has got that thing cruising. He started way back in 10th position. He's already up to 2nd.
And I've talked about this weekend after weekend. That boat, the 22, driven by Kyle Maskell, if there is any opportunity at a race to test, he is out there from the second it starts to the very black flag, taking advantage of it. But Dustin Terry's going to give him a run for his money as he comes flying down the front stretch in the 03.
This is all good.
Looks like RJ West has made his way from very last all the way through, sitting in 4th. That's one to keep an eye on. It's going to be the RJ West in the 93 composite craft, Chuck Skelton Racing.
That's what I'm talking about right here, right? He was angry. That's a man driving angry right there. He is upset after what happened. He's probably just as upset as himself as anybody else because he takes a lot of pride in that setup, but he's already moved his way up into 4th position. And he's pushing hard to track down the 9 of Johnny Fleming, but he's going to have a real hard task getting in front of the 03 of Dustin Terry. And the big question here is, can the 22 of Maskell drive the 03 of Dustin Terry all over the race course?
And Kyle Maskell is sitting there hoping that he's going to be able to do that, and at the same time, is RJ West going to be able to be stuck back in back traffic? But on the inside, he moves right past Fleming and is on his way to catch up to the top two boats. Our leader coming out of turn number 2 is the all-white Maskell Collision, Kyle Maskell, followed by the black, I call it the jet black 03 of Dustin Terry.
Yeah, black beauty there. Now here's the benefit though. There's the number 91 of Peter Wilson. He's a part of the BC boys. He's wide to the outside there. He's scrubbing up that water, forcing the 03 of Terry not to pick his optimal line. Now Terry had to tuck tight in to avoid the 91 of Wilson. That allows the 22 of Maskell to grow that lead. He knows he's got to get through the corners flawless. That's the advantage that Maskell has over the 03 of Dustin Terry. Terry's got to swing it wide to the outside. He doesn't like going pin to pin, that big heavy motor. Now Maskell, look, he's going to scrub it, force him to go way out. Now he's going to drive himself back to the pin. That is going to force the 03 of Terry to run absolutely perfect or to make some risky moves.
You know, and he has been doing a wonderful job. That is Kyle Maskell, one of our younger drivers, halfway down the backstretch, and Dustin Terry is shortening up that gap, but look right behind him. Here,
fighting so hard with each other that you just keep running your race, and you could run this thing all the way to the checkered flag. Notice how he loves to go wide to the outside, and now you're going to watch him slowly close that door down the front straightaway, killing all that extra speed. The 03 of Terry's got to walk through the wash.
Justin did that because he saw that RJ was coming in really fast, and we all know RJ holds those pins tight, loves that inside. So Dustin had to change his complete game plan, and he's going to have to try and dive on the inside. But once again, now he's starting to go to the outside, and RJ West is coming in hot. Dustin Terry, will he slam the door on RJ West? Looks like Dustin Terry's going to hold it just a little close, but he's going to have to float it back out the way that boat loves to ride. I would not want to be Kyle Maskell right now. RJ on his inside, Dustin on his outside. He is going to have to work for this checkered flag because these two experienced drivers, they know how to maneuver these boats a little bit better, but Kyle Maskell has got the great setup.
And we jump back to like that battle for third, fourth, fifth, and so fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. The 13 is Schubert, the 8 of Mayo, and look at the 17 of Dylan Anderson. He was finished second in heat 1. He can't get better than 8th here in qualifying heat number 2.
Kyle Maskell is your leader, but it looks like they're going to have, it looks like Jared Jensen went dead in turn number 2. He's right there in the middle of the corner, so RJ had to go on the outside, pushing Dustin to the outside. These two are going to battle it out. Kyle is going way wide. Dustin
now
jumps
he's got to cut down to the inside. Here we go. Off the speed. Looks like something might have happened to the 22 of Kyle Maskell as he just lost the top end, but now the 03 of Dustin Terry's going to get out in front. Ladies and gentlemen, the final round of the season is now out in front here in qualifying heat number 2, and oh no, the 13 of Grant Schubert goes down here right at the start-finish line with that 4-stroke on the back. That's not what he wanted to see either.
It is not, and it's too bad to see. We've got a couple of boats down, but it looks like Jensen was able to get back out onto the water. But now we're going to have to watch this race for first and second. Dustin Terry in the 03 is your leader. He's now decided to change it again, jump to the inside. RJ West, who usually sits there and pegs the pins, is now to the outside. They've got 4 back traffic boats, one just getting up on plane as they make their way through turn number 2.
And we're going to watch them kind of turn 4. We got a flare right there. We got a red flag on the course, red flag on the race course. It looks like not only the 13 of Grant Schubert, but the 9 of Johnny Fleming right there in the middle of the front straightaway. Looks like his motor went away. That's a pretty indicative, slowly coming to a stop. That means your motor went boom, boom. That's no fun for the 9 of Fleming. Let's hope that's not the case. But that caused a red flag. You're welcome, RJ?
There was that. But like I said, they did a 2-flag start, so he's still going to have to start after the first set.
No.
Oh, we're going to change that.
No, because now they've completed so many laps. Now it's how your racing order on the restart. So racing order, he's second. Dustin's first. Maskell's third. Love fourth. Because the 13 of Schubert fell out. And the 9 of Fleming, we look all the way back. I believe that is the number 52 of Chris Rinkers in 4th, and then the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo sitting in 5th.
I mean, let's talk about jumbling up some points and jumbling up. Oh, we're going to see right here on the camera, we got RJ West back at the starting dock. Not sure if he had some boat damage. You know, I did watch a little bit out of the corner of my eye going into the back traffic in turn number 2. everybody got a little close, and I'm wondering if maybe there was some contact there. You can see these, if you're watching on our YouTube channel, which I highly advise because we've got great footage, we're going to see that there's actually 2 different teams down there. We got Clover Construction along with the Chuck Skeleton Racing, all of them with their hands underneath that boat, looking for damage of any sort. The damage that he repaired was on the left side. This damage looks to be like it's on the right side. Also, I can see Maskell's down there. I see that the Rinkers are down there. All of them working together to try and figure out what happened. With these boats sitting inside the water, they're basically feeling blind. And, with the different ridges that they have underneath these boats.
Combination to really get that airflow, and then that happens. What we normally think when we see something like that happen is hey, you got to go put a new motor on.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm really curious is you saw him also tow in the 13 at Grant Schubert. Well, that's a 4-stroke. That's not supposed to happen. So I don't know what happened.
That could have been, he might have turned it off. I mean, we've seen it before where these drivers throw, we call them an ear. They're basically a blade on a prop. And it gives it such a shimmy that if it gives you enough shimmy, it could actually kill the gears case, and it could cause even more damage. So I'm just hoping he basically what we call cut an ear.
That's very possible.
And I'm sure he might have a couple extra spare props in there.
Yeah, fair enough, right? I mean, it would surprise me that somebody that young in Grant Schubert wouldn't just say screw it, because that's the kind of kid he is. He's, screw it.
I might have done
good.
that a few times.
We're
racing.
good, but yeah, the vibrations do get pretty horrific when you have a prop that's not in balance because you sheared an ear. And we talk, as we see the 12 of Sean Love, who's still trying to figure it out this weekend, and he really was growing. There's the 93 of RJ West. That's the guy who was cruising, but looks like he's good to go. Maybe no hole in the boat. Otherwise, they would have probably sent him to the dock. Now we've just got to get the 13 and the 9 off the course so we can have just a few lap shootout here for our second qualifying heat in Formula One. Here we got through 15.
Well, we talked about it.
We got through 10 laps. Sorry, 10 laps in qualifying heat number 2 so far, but we're timed, right? It's all minutes plus 1 lap, and so Terry can hold off the 93 West.
Well, I really do hope that he put enough fuel in it because I've seen it once before at Springfield, Ohio. Yeah, I know. You saw that one too at Dustin Terry in the 03. Coming around the last corner, and all of a sudden,
and I think
ran out of fuel.
Oh yeah, I mean it happens to the best of them, and typically you'll see it when it's that competitive, and so that's why it wouldn't be surprising here. Because it's all about competitive. You remember a few years ago, the 94 of Rusty Wyatt in the lead around the last corner ran out of gas.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine? You're in the lead for, and granted it was like, I think, was it the final? It might have been the final. Like, you're in the lead on the last lap of the final, and you come out of the final corner and the boat dies, and then the realization hits you that you ran the boat out of gas.
Yep.
Because that's a controllable mistake, right? You can't control somebody else hits you, right? You can't control if you hit a log in the water that you didn't see because you can't do anything about something you didn't see. But running out of gas is one of those ones that, like, I got to own that one. And he's owned them in the past, so hopefully he's not making those mistakes in the future.
Well, and I hope that they did actually bank on this factor that they already have 10 laps in the books, and that's running through quite a bit of the fuel right there. It's also going to change the balance of the boat for this next set. So now these drivers are 10 laps lighter on fuel, weight-wise, as they come off of that starting dock and make their way down the backstretch. The balance of these boats is going to change, so it might make a little bit more interesting race, even though these guys have already given us as fans and family, one heck of a fun race and a crazy race to see all these position swapping. Kyle Maskell was leading with a sizable lead, and then all of a sudden Dustin Terry in one corner came over and took it along with RJ West. You got 3 drivers that were battling it out pretty hard for that last couple laps. And I told you, we talked about this morning. Keep an eye on that Maskell kid.
Yeah, and I actually just got word 2 things that are going to throw a nice little wrench in this. One, we're going a rolling start here on the restart after 10 laps. And we also revert back to the last completed lap.
Ooh. I'm thinking that might be a Maskell thing. You
Correct.
might be liking that.
The man who's going to start on the inside of row 1 on this rolling restart, the 22 of Kyle Maskell. And what is the two-stroke have over the four-stroke? The jump,
yeah, it's got
right? That off the beach, that pop, that jump with a rolling start, that's going to be, could potentially be a very big advantage for Maskell, because remember, it took 9 laps, 10 laps to get around him, right? We had to revert back. We hadn't quite completed the 11th lap, so we reverted back to 10. Well, we're probably not going to get 10 more laps. So now, I guarantee you the crew chief of the 22 of Kyle Maskell's like, listen, this is your lucky dog moment, right? Like in NASCAR, you get the lucky dog, the last guy gets to go back around on the lead lap. Well, hey, they counted the last completed lap, not the one that you got passed on. So take that advantage and use it. And we got to be very curious to see what he does, because if he can do what he did in the first 10 laps, I think this kid can hold him off.
I think he can.
It's going to take a flawless execution, but because the 03 and the 93 are going to be on top of each other, that's going to be huge, because if you remember when he got passed, it was like 03 then 93, not both of them fighting each other. RJ hadn't quite gotten there yet, and that was like, Dustin was like, thank God I passed him before RJ got here.
Yeah.
Because if RJ would have got there, now he's got to be worried, if I make a move on Maskell, does the 93 at West take a two-boat move and slingshot the both of us? Now they're going to have to worry about fighting one another, and Maskell's just got to mash the gas and get on that green flag when we do the rolling start, like we do our tri-hulls here for the remainder of our second qualifying heat here in Formula One. Ooh, I just got another nugget of information.
My goodness, what is going on over here?
Apparently it is Kyle Maskell's lucky day. I just got word that based on time elapsed after 11, with the amount of time we have remaining in the race sanction, we're going green, white, checker, a 3-lap dash for cash here in qualifying heat number 2. And the 22 of Kyle Maskell is set up to get his first heat win ever in the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series, which would be a huge stride for the BC boys as they are really looking to gear up and make 2025 their splash season coming out of the Pacific Northwest.
And to leave the 24 season on that high to move into the 25, you know what's going to happen during that 5-month, 6-month gap. You know they're going to be working hard up there when the water's not frozen over, but you know.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, they don't have to deal with nearly as much of that, right? We deal with a lot more of that in Minnesota than you do up in the Pacific Northwest. Chilliwack just over the border. Victoria Island, very much a temperate rainforest. Lots of rain, lots of humidity, lots of lush green foliage.
I kind of like it.
Fair. Well, let's take a look at our new lineup after 10 laps as here in this qualifying heat. Is we're going to go green, white, checkered. On the inside of row 1 is going to be the 22 of Kyle Maskell, who was rewarded for that fantastic start and jumping all over the 9 of Johnny Fleming. On the outside of row 1, the 03 of Dustin Terry. Now, unlike tri-hulls where they go side by side, we go staggered. So it's half a boat length between first, second, third. First and third are going to be the inside. Second and fourth are going to be on the outside. As they're going to stagger there, we see, yes, the 93 of RJ West on the inside of row 2, the 24 of Spencer Love on the outside of row 2, then the 52 of Chris Rinker inside of row 3, 8 of Jeremiah, row 4, and the rest of the with inside of row 4, the 17 of Dylan Anderson. But we are moments away from going green, white, checkered. Our pace jet ski pulls off. He drops the flag, and here we go. The 22 of Kyle Maskell and the 03 of Dustin Terry are going to do battle here in this green, white, checker scenario. Dash for cash here at the second qualifying heat of the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series final event of 2024, the Roar of the Rockies.
Kyle Maskell had a great start from that drop of that green flag. Now, Dustin Terry's sitting where he likes to, sitting on the outside. RJ West is on the inside where he likes to go. But now we're going to watch as these guys battle.
Watch Maskell go to the outside. Absolutely fantastic. Now watch RJ West go down to the inside. That's that cat and mouse game that he's going to be playing. Can he do it for 2 more laps, or will the 03 of Dustin Terry figure out how to get around him? We've got 2 laps remaining here in this second qualifying heat in Formula One.
One of our shorter courses of the year, so there's not much time. We're going to see that Maskell's going to go staying on the inside. RJ West has now just hammered it down because he knows he has to duck on the inside of Kyle Maskell because Dustin Terry's going to sit on the outside.
And now watch, Maskell's going to do it again. He's going to go way wide out of turn number 4, force the 03. Now Terry forces him a little tighter, But Terry's now going to run. Now we got a drag race down the front straightaway. Terry going wide to the outside. 105, 110, 115 miles an hour. The white flag is out. Go fast. Turn left just 4 more times. Can the 22 of Maskell hold the corner? He does. What a great job there. But now he's going to have to drive the 03 of Terry. Look at him drive way wide to the outside. He is forcing the Terry to go so much further around the course. Can the young man from Chilliwack, BC, hang on for his first heat victory?
As they go nose to nose, side by side into the last corner, Maskell's on the inside. He pops up that baba, sneaks his way in, and we might have had boat contact. They're fighting for this checkered flag, and it's going to be a photo finish, Thomas.
Down to the wire, the 22 of Maskell on the inside, the 03 of the Dustin Terry on the outside. Ladies and gentlemen, a photo finish. The 03 of Dustin Terry comes out of nowhere and knocks off the 22 of Kyle Maskell, with the 93 of RJ West finishing tight in third, followed by the 224 of Spencer Love. The 17 of Dylan Anderson goes from 9th up to 5th. Thank God for him. He really needed that. Then the 29 of Jensen, the 52 of Rinker, the 99 of Yates, the 12 of Love. And you know who else we didn't see out there? There he was, the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo. He got lost up in there. Sorry, I apologize for that. I thought he had gone dead in the water. We lost the 91 of Peter Wilson. We lost the 9 of Johnny Fleming. We lost the 13 of Grant Schubert. But boy, what a bang-bang finish that was there between the 03 of Dustin Terry and the 22 of Kyle Maskell.
I don't know if my heart's beating faster from all the times I have to run back and forth to go give these guys a great finish interview, or if that last lap just about, I mean, you and I were about ready to crawl over this table. We wanted to get down there.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to let you get down and chat with the 03 of Dustin Terry, because I have a feeling that is going to be one very excited young man, because not only did he win by a nose on the final lap of the heat, the man sitting 22 points behind him is now a lot further behind, because the 17 of Dylan Anderson finished, I believe, in like 7th position. That's a lot of points that the 03 of Dustin Terry gained back on the rest of the field here in Formula One. He's going to grab that checkered flag. Oh, that'll wait Chris Kiefer. Yeah, that was the lovely Chris Kiefer that whiffed on that checkered flag as he was trying to get it in the hands of the 03 of Dustin Terry. But this is what champions do, right? When it's on the line and you got to dig deep, and the guy in second just gained ground on you in the opening qualifying heat, what you do is you put it all on the line and you say, no, this is my series to win, and I am not going to allow you to do that to me here in the final race of the season. I am going to put the hammer down, and I'm going to do everything I can to find a way to get by you, and he did it with about 6 feet to go on the race course. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, taking a fantastic heat win here in qualifying heat number 2 out of Houma, Louisiana. He boarded up his house. He got hit by a hurricane. He got on a plane, and he came here and ran qualifying heat number 2, and what a fantastic photo finish it was. About 3.5 feet was the amount of distance between him and the 22 of Kyle Maskell, the young man out of Chilliwack, BC, running for GLH Construction here locally in Maskell's Collision and Glass, and H&R Racing. Gave it everything he had. And this young driver, I think, is absolutely putting the BC boys on the map. That contingency of drivers from British Columbia and the Pacific Northwest are ready to ascend to the United States in 2025, and this is the introduction for the rest of the drivers to their lead driver up there, the 22 of Kyle Maskell. But he just didn't have enough in the tank when it came right down to it. What a fantastic run by the 03 of Dustin Terry, and what a great run it was here as we wrap up qualifying in the Formula One class here on Saturday's qualifying at the 2024 Formula One Powerboat Championship Series. Final race of 2024, the Roar of the Rockies. We've got one more heat coming up here. The Texas Tri-Hulls are going to finish their third and final qualifying heat. So we've got bumper boats at 65 miles an hour coming up next to wrap up racing here on the shores of Pelican Lake in beautiful Windsor, Colorado, right here in the Water Valley communities. Pelican Lakes Resort and Golf Club. We'll be right back with the final heat of Tri-Hull here at the Roar of the Rockies.
Mercury Racing was forged in the heat of competition. The will to win is in our DNA. Competition isn't just what we do, it's our proving ground. It's about the pursuit of power, performance, and endurance that pushes our limits and yours. We create premium marine power to take you faster and farther. The world offers limits. Mercury Racing offers freedom. Live wide open.
VP Racing Fuels has been the official fuel of racing for over 45 years. But VP isn't just race fuels. VP offers a wide range of oils, additives, and our new Stay Frosty coolants to help keep your street car, tow vehicle, or weekend warrior running at its best. VP products are engineered to keep your vehicle running smooth and looking great for your daily commute. With our octane boosters, fuel treatments, and quick detailing products. Explore VP's full product line at vpracingfuels.com.
All right, looks like we are just about ready to have a conversation with, I would imagine, a very excited Dustin Terry. We're going to turn things down to Kay as she's with our Heat 2 winner by a nose, the Plash Lighting 03 Dustin Terry.
Dustin, you gave us probably most exciting race of the weekend. You know, Maskell has really worked you hard that whole first part, then the restart. What went through your head when you...
I got to give it to him. He's driving like a pro.
Well, he is. He's doing a great job. He's working you to the extremes. Him and RJ West, both going to be your biggest competition for the next heat tomorrow morning. You going to make any changes to be able to make sure you can keep ahead of him?
Well, we had some battery issues. We've had some problems. We're going to have to tinker with a few things tonight, but I can't complain at all. I just came up here from a hurricane 3 days ago. My house still doesn't have power. Things are still in shambles back home. I have so many friends that care about me and that got me here and that are taking care of everything. People back home taking care of my house. I'm so thankful for all of it. I just, if nothing else goes well this weekend, I'm so blessed. This is fantastic. The boat's running great. I'm just trying to stay focused on staying ahead of Dylan. Dylan's my biggest concern. So yes, I would like to beat RJ. I think everybody's talking about him and I and our whole journey with the 4-stroke, but my journey with him is I need to put it on the back burner and focus on a championship.
Well, you got yourself some lucky charms sitting right here, and I think that's what got you to that victory lane too.
Yeah, I got my daughter Annabelle, my son Austin's right here behind me, and working on the boats. My wife's here. Everybody's working hard. So to all the family back home, Mom, Wid, Scott, everybody that couldn't make it because of the storm, love you guys. I'm having a great time.
All right, we're going to let you get back in there, get that battery situated because you got some fierce competition looking out for you tomorrow morning.
Thank you so much. Thank you to the series. Thank you, Windsor. This thankfully they didn't throw a bunch of logs in this water. We have no logs to worry about, and we're having a great time.
All right, congratulations, Dustin Terry. Take the checkered flag.
All right, thanks, Kay. Yeah, you saw ear-to-ear grin on the face of the 03 of Dustin Terry, probably one of the most exhilarating qualifying heats we've had in all of 2024, and it just speaks to the amount of hard work that driver's put in. He committed to the 4-stroke package about 5 days after the 93 of RJ West. So those two very early on said, I'm going to take my lumps. I'm going to take it in stride. I'm going to learn. I'm going to grow. And boy, it's paying off right now. And you know, what pays off for us to be able to make it around the United States every year in and year out, are our series sponsors. If you want to be a series sponsor, please contact race director Tim Siebold through our F1PowerboatRacing.com website. But without them, we wouldn't be here. You heard from the great folks at Mercury Racing and from VP Racing Fuels. But what about Seaway Marine, the sponsor of the Formula Lights class? They operate out of a 62,000 square foot warehouse that's packed with current OEM parts, aftermarket parts, and vintage hard-to-find parts. They ship over 100,000 packages a year all over the United States. Same-day shipping on in-stock orders. Seaway staff is arguably the most knowledgeable in the industry, and they pride themselves in excellent customer service. Make Seaway Marine your first call or text, your one-stop boat motor shop. Find them online at seawaymarine.com. Racing Communications, their radios for racing. Moto Marketing Group, accelerating brands for over 35 years. Moto Marketing Group is from developing the most famous boat and race team graphics that look fast to websites that run fast. Moto Marketing Group is your one-stop marketing shop for branding, vehicle wraps, websites, photography, print design, and more. They do it all professionally at a great price. Check them out at motomarketinggroup.com. Find them on Facebook, YouTube, and all the socials at Moto Marketing Group. JH Performance Boats. Custom, handcrafted, shallow water bay boats built with the highest quality materials. Kicker Marine Audio, the official series audio partner of the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series. Kicker Marine Audio produces real marine audio components, meticulously designed, engineered, and built with durability to withstand the most harshest marine environments, and the power to be heard with clarity even at an open-air event like a Formula One Powerboat race. Find your next real marine audio at kicker.com. Seabold Sports, world champion powerboat racing since 1939. Find more of the legendary Seabold family at SeaboldSports.com. What a fantastic group of sponsors we have in 2024 that allow us to go all over the United States, from the Gulf Coast, the Midwest, and out here in the Rocky Mountains. The 2024 Formula One Powerboat Championship Series wrapping up its race season here on the shores of Pelican Lakes in beautiful Windsor, Colorado. Boy, I tell you, Cade, the ear-to-ear grin on that driver, you can tell, like, that was special, right? Like, that's those catalyst moments that tell you as a driver, this is it, man. You're right there, and you're doing the right things, right? He didn't get pissed that they went back to the last lap and he wasn't on the inside. You know, he looked at the positive side of things. He said, you know what? At least RJ's behind me, and I have the ability to dictate how he functions behind me, right? And that's the way he looked at it, that he used that to his advantage. And, man, I mean, what a run. Talk about a photo finish, about a 3.5-foot margin between the 22 of Maskell and the 03 of Dustin Terry.
You know, and he had that big smile on his face, not only because he was holding the checkered flag, but he had his family here, you know, side by side with him. His daughter, his son, his wife were all just standing there, just so excited for him. But he knew he had to work for it, and he worked extremely hard in not a 7-minute race. It was literally down to the last 2.5 laps that he had to work himself around Kyle Maskell to be able to take that checkered flag, and he did it with just basically a half a boat lead. So making that smile even bigger, because he's like, I worked extra hard for this, and I earned it. You know, and he's done so well. He finished first on the podium at Alton, Illinois, and he was so excited. He actually messaged me shortly after Alton, because when I went down to go do the interview, he grabbed the checkered flag, jumped back in his boat, and wanted to go do his victory lap. So he messaged me later, like a few weeks later after Alton. He goes, dude, I'm really sorry to get my interview in first. I said, man, you were so excited. I was like, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have gotten a good interview
No.
from him anyway. But a good interview did have one of our drivers, is one of the drivers that's converted from the traditional 100 cubic inch OMC over to that inline 4-stroke Mercury. Sat down with one of the Rinker clans here in the Texas Tri-Hull division to see what they're going to try to do here this weekend at the Roar of the Rockies.
I'm here with Tanner Rinker of the Rinker Boat World. Tanner, you know, usually we're used to seeing you with an Evinrude. This weekend, you surprised us all with a brand new Mercury on the back of this boat, and I hear it was a surprise to you last week.
Yeah, it definitely came out of right field, but really excited to run it. Big surprise.
Well, the big surprise was because your dad just like popped it on the back of the boat and said, here, go run this. You know, been struggling this season. You think this motor is what's going to get you on the top of the podium?
I think I have a better shot at the podium. Ran real good during testing, and really.
All right, sorry we had to cut that short, but we got a green flag here. Racing underway, the final heat of Texas Tri-Hull, with the 13 of Jack Schubert on the inside of row 1 and the DD1, the rookie of Andy Miller, on the outside of row 1. And look at there in 4th position. That means he has the 4th least points through 2 heats, the 17 of Neil Marsh. But when you give him an opportunity, what does he do? He steers clear of all the junk, and he's already now all over the 13 of Grant Schubert. You get this guy out front, and it's basically game over.
And, you know, he had to work for it, because we've already seen it. There was boats jumping all over each other, trying to hold off not just their other competitors, but the one that's got the target, and that's the number 17 of Neil Marsh as he makes his way around Grant Schubert in the 13. But keep an eye out for the 93 of Jensen. He's coming out from nowhere.
Yeah, the 93 of JB Jensen. And you notice the new cowling on the back of the 17. Is that a new motor? Did that motor get so damaged with the run-in of the 93 of JB Jensen in Heat 2 that put him out on the 3rd lap? He might have to have a whole new motor on the back, but maybe that was the faster motor of the two, because he is absolutely screaming out there. He's flying down the front straightaway, and he's opened up a sizable lead. Now the 93 of J.B. Jensen's moved up into second, followed by the 13 of Jack Schubert, the 56 of Clint Dillard, and then it's the 6 of Grant Schubert. There's a name we haven't said much in Tri-Hall, but Tri-Hall is one of those classes that you could finish like second and third in all 4 qualifying heats, and you find yourself on the pole in the final. And we all know in Tri-Hall, the pole is where you need to be if you want to win.
Yeah, exactly, because of these, as you can see out there on the course, rough and torrential conditions out here. It's basically like survival mode to get up onto the pole, and it looks like Neil Marsh has now got it all figured out, tuned out, as he starts to make his lead over the Jensen of 93.
Yeah, the 93 of J.B. Jensen running for Island Lake Marine is now in second. The 56 of Clint Dillard in third. The DD1 of Andy Miller and the 13 of Jack Schubert are both started on row 1. This is what sometimes happens, right? Sometimes reverse order of points, you're on the front, Brian, because your stuff isn't really top of class right now. And so sometimes you'll see those lower boats get shuffled back. That's what's happened to the DD1 of Andy Miller and the 13 of Jack Schubert. But here we see the 10 of Scary Jerry Rinker now climbing up into that top 5. Could he make a move? But right now it is all the 17 of Neil Marsh, then the 93 of J.B. Jensen, and the 56 of Clint Dillard is starts.
Group, the 37 of Mason Rinker, your winner, is now way back in the back. White flag is out. The number 17 of Neil Marsh.
Yeah, we can see him come along the backside of our video screen there as we sit by the 36. And oh no, the 1 of Corey Walker, the 26 of Briston Sherman. Getting wadded up down there in the backside of turn number 1. That's a 26 of Michael Schubert, the 1 of Corey Walker, and the 37 of Mason Rinker. Mason, boy, it's hot or cold with that young man, but there's our leader, the 17 of Neil Marsh. He needed desperately to win heat number 3. He was 4th to last in points. Now, he came in with a 100-point lead, but he gave up about 60 of those. He's going to gain a whole bunch of them back. Ladies and gentlemen, taking the final heat of the afternoon and winning qualifying heat number 3, the number 17, Neil Marsh.
Followed by the 93 of J.B. Jensen with a great run in that all-silver 93.
Absolutely, and rounding out the top 3 here, the 56 of Clint Dillard, and then the 6 of Grant Schubert, the 10 of Jerry Rinker, and the DD1 of Andy Miller.
A great run. I mean, these guys, I don't know how they do it, to be honest, Tom. I get to go out on a lot of different fun boats. I've been offered to go in and ride one of these, and I don't think my back could handle it. I'm over 40, not going to say much farther over 40. I really don't know how Jerry Rinker gets out of his boat after every Tri-Hall heat.
Yeah, 82 years young after taking off the majority of the 2024 season after double knee surgery. He comes in here and gets the final race of 2024 in the books. Boy, Neil Marsh in that fantastic run there. You know, he's got a ton of sponsors that bring him down from Hemlock, Michigan. He's got the checkered flag in hand, and he's got so many of them. I had to have him send them to me on my phone in my sponsor area of his driver page. And here we go. The man right there with the checkered flag in hand making a lap around. The Maple Grill, Sefton Financial, Timberwood Antique Mall, Klotz Lubricants, Grandpa's Garden, Studio 46, J. Marie's Salon, MP Solutions, B-Blades, Best Automotive, Riversong Lodge, Warden Brother Farms. Now that's a guy that has the community of Hemlock, Michigan behind him 100%. He's your 2-time defending series champion. He's looking for the clean sweep in 24. He hasn't started off that well, but he finally got off the schneid and got that checkered flag here in qualifying heat number 3. What a fantastic run it was for the number 17 of Neil Marsh. I do want to announce the Windsor Middle School raffle. We were out at the Windsor Middle School on Wednesday showing the great students of the 8th grade class the physics and the mechanical engineering that goes into these high-performance tunnel boats. And then we had a raffle there. And that young individual is going to win a whole swag bag of merch. Congratulations goes to Colton Klatt. If you could make your way down to the Formula One Powerboat Championship merch tent before you leave the grounds today, Colton Klatt, congratulations, sir. You're going to be decked out head to toe in Formula One Powerboat Championship gear. Fantastic young man winning the Windsor Middle School raffle. Again, we went in to Windsor Middle School and taught these physics students about all the hydrodynamics and the physics and the mathematics and the science that goes in to a Formula One tunnel boat. And it's so much about the data and the analytics and the physics and everything. Look at these fantastic overhead views. Could you imagine this beautiful backdrop here for your final race of the season? Well, I'm excited that that gets to be the backdrop for our final race here in 2024. What a fantastic run it's been. We're going to wait to hopefully get a chat with the 17 of Neil Marsh here momentarily as we wrap up our Saturday qualifying. He finished the day the way he wanted, didn't start it that way. Dustin Terry finished the day the way he wanted to, didn't necessarily start that way, right? And the 35 of Mark Schmierbach started and finished his day exactly how he wanted, but he may have blown a motor. So the theme of the day is you either start the way you want and maybe you don't finish like you wanted, in the case of Mark Schmierbach and that potentially blown motor that's very scary fast, or it doesn't start the way you want, but boy, it sure does finish that way like it did for Dustin Terry with a 3.5-foot win. But right now, we're going to send things down to Kay as she chats with a man who's probably very happy to get his first checkered flag in qualifying heat number 3. Take it away, Kay.
All right, he just said it for me best. I mean, we're used to seeing you getting checkered flag after checkered flag. This tri-hall competition is getting so tight. You mentioned it coming in that you've got some of the guys around that you just can't seem to get around, but you did on this final heat. You had to work for it, but you got it.
Yeah, we had a little fender bender on the last one, and took a steering cable out, but our crew got it back together, Sam and Brian, and got to thank Jim as well. We got her going, and guess we could have started towards the front on that one, so that helped a little bit, but it's fun, it's rough. There's the best field of the season, so that's awesome. I had a lot of help this year, and especially for this race. I got Timberwood Antique Mall, Stan. I want to thank you, dude. You helped me a ton, Roger, again, and I got Grandpa's Garden.
Well, I know,
man, you helped me out, dude. Thank you.
I know you have a young lady that's sitting at home watching the live stream. She's got her name right here on the front of that boat. You want to say hi to Raja and this checkered flag's for her?
Yeah. Hi, Raj, and we're gonna get you that checkered flag soon. We'll meet up with you real soon after the season's over. I also got to thank my mother. She made a long trip, and with my 3 sisters, and I can't leave my wife out of it, right? So thank you, Josie. I love you. Kids at home, Ellie, Trevor, Zammy, everybody, love you guys.
Well, this shows the following that you have. I mean, every time I come around, whenever you're winning or when you're in a great competition, you have like this area, and we're going to have to call it the Marsh Clan.
That's great. I take it. I love it, man. They like to travel around, and we're able to do that. And this beautiful weather and beautiful town, we couldn't ask for anything better.
Well, congratulations on a heat win. We're going to look forward to seeing you tomorrow afternoon. You got some fierce competition. Might make some little tightening, make some adjustments, and we'll get looking forward to seeing you later.
Here she come.
Absolutely. Here she come indeed, coming all the way to the checkered flag in hand in qualifying heat number 3. And that's going to wrap up racing here on Saturday qualifying at the 2024 Formula One Powerboat Championship Series final race of 2024, the Roar of the Rockies. It's been a pleasure to be here on this absolutely beautiful Saturday afternoon. The temperatures were great, a nice light breeze, and what a beautiful backdrop here in the foothills of the Colorado Rockies here for Roar of the Rockies 2024. On behalf of the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series, I'd like to thank all our series sponsors, but for this event specifically, I'd like to thank all of our major sponsors here at the Roar of the Rockies in 2024 that allowed us to come here and put on this fantastic day of racing so far here in the final weekend of 24. The Water Valley Company, Island Lake Marine, Norris Design, ProLift Crane and Riggings, Advanced HOA, Nobleman Electric, PCL Construction, Sukup Bush, and on the move, boy, sure was Dustin Terry on the move in that last heat, so was Neil Marsh. Exodus Moving and Storage. We'll be back again tomorrow with another jam-packed day where we're going to crown a champion here at Roar of the Rockies. and we're going to crown 2024 Series champions. On behalf of everyone at the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series and my partner Kay, I am Thomas Yarbrough. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the final race day of 2024. Good night, God bless, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Formula One powerboats are sleek, glamorous, lightweight, and extremely maneuverable, with a power-to-weight ratio among the highest in all of motorsports. Their performance speaks for itself. Acceleration from 0 to 100 miles an hour in under 5 seconds. Top speeds in excess of 120. Cornering at 100 miles an hour, all while pulling 7 Gs in the process. The competition begins with a field of 20 boats lined up in the start pontoon. Engine silent, awaiting the modified Le Mans start. When the green flag drops, these world-class drivers ignite their rockets to life. Engines roaring and rooster tails flying, they simultaneously accelerate towards the first turn. With tight courses close to the shoreline, made up of right and left-hand turns that offer deck-to-deck, heart-pounding action and guarantee fans up close and front and center views, no 2 laps are the same due to the ever-changing wind and water conditions, making the F1 boat one of the most challenging racing machines to conquer on the planet. Founded in 2017, the Formula One Powerboat Championship is an 8-race series contested across North America, featuring weekend-long community events highlighted by the Formula One boats and supporting classes. U.S. powerboat racing's 120-year heritage began with the formation of its governing body, the American Powerboat Association. For the last 6 decades, Formula One powerboats have been the pinnacle classification in powerboat racing. Recognized as one of the world's most spectacular racing vehicles, these events have evolved into more than a series of one-day races, developing into marquee, multi-interest, weekend-long community festivals, producing some of the largest entertainment events in major markets, attracting tourism dollars, benefiting the local economies, while delighting the global audience. Large on-site event attendance is coupled with mass media exposure through various channels, regionally, nationally, and globally.